It's Kevin and Query.
I throw, you catch. It's not that hard, okay? All right, get the out of here.
I'm going to talk a lot about drills and fundamentals.
Watch it, watch it, watch it, watch it.
On 93.5
Watch it.
and 107.5.
Boom, baby.
The Fan.
A little steamy Tuesday and Wednesday coming up here in the city of Indianapolis. The Colts will put on full pads today at Grand Park for the first time here in training camp, and we welcome back Marc to keep us on steady waters on this Tuesday morning. Good morning. Thank you for tuning in to Kevin and Query, 93.5, 107.5, The Fan. I'm Kevin Bowen. Jake Query is with me, and Marc Dykton is, I say, moved into a new house. Is that accurate?
Yes, moved in.
Somewhat
yes.
moved in?
Yes. This house is not a home yet with how many boxes and whatnot I still have to unpack. But yes, carpet has been installed. That was my hell yesterday was getting carpet installed because we had to move everything out of the rooms, which was literally basically every room we owned. So that was fun.
This house was built in what year?
1960.
So what homeowner are you?
I
what
have no
number?
idea.
Has anybody died in the house?
No.
Are you sure?
Well, they have to disclose that, don't they?
Only if you ask.
I mean, the lights flickered at one point. I was like, I don't think we have a Ouija board around, so...
I had a high school teacher of mine that bought a really nice home in Meridian Kessler, 35 years ago, and got it like pennies on the dollar. Taking up the carpet, and there were some stains all over the hardwoods.
Whoa.
They're like, what happened here? And they're like, didn't anybody tell you?
Is that the episode of Ozark I was watching last night?
Oh, yeah. Where are we, Kevin, on Ozark? Fill us in.
We are, I think, approaching the midway point of season 3.
So you're moving along
you're
a pretty
plowing
good
through
clip,
it.
right?
Yeah, we are. Usually it's like an episode or two a night. Someone told me that Wendy gets pretty crazy, and I'm starting to see a little bit of crazy out of her.
No, just wait.
I think I told you I petered out. And is it 4 seasons?
Oh, you didn't make it all the way through? I thought you were a big...
Well, I really liked it. And then the 4th season is actually like 2 seasons. I mean, it's basically 1 season, but it's 2 or whatever.
I
right?
think they split in 7 episodes and 7 episodes.
But they all dropped at one time, right?
No, so it was like one season released like fall of last year, and then the final 7 were released in like March.
Okay, so at any rate, I'm 2 episodes I think into that 4th one, and I just kind of hit up like now. It's been so long, I'm like I don't remember.
We're like a couple episodes into the casino
Okay.
pathway.
At one point, and this happens with some of those shows. At some point, you wait too long between seasons where you're like, I don't really remember who everybody is. I mean, I know it doesn't take too long to catch back up, but...
Yeah, we're just going full throttle. I mean, we talked about this yesterday, Jake, and I don't know, Marc, if you agree with this. I feel like July and August, the combination of these 2 months, the worst sports viewing months of the year.
Oh, for sure. July is the worst of all 12, I have to think.
Again, Marc Dykton will probably bet on the Jags and Raiders Hall of Fame game on Thursday night. That's how desperate things.
See, I've been kind of out of the sports loop with all the moving going on, but Hall of Fame games, sign me up.
And honestly,
money line.
Jake, that's why I think it's smart that IndyCar jams all these races together. I mean, this is going to be like the 5th straight weekend you've been calling a race, probably?
Yeah, it's a whirlwind for sure. Nashville this weekend, and then I think a weekend off, and then we go to Gateway.
Now, Nashville was a ton of attention last year. It seemed to be a great success outside of the race, but the race itself had a few hiccups.
Yeah, the track was too narrow, basically, in a few areas, and it turned into a parking lot in several places.
Do you know if there's been tweaks?
They supposedly have taken care of that.
I'd assume some big musical acts down there for that. I got a couple buddies going down for it.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
It's Bachelorette capital of the world.
Where should I tell them to meet you?
I'm doing it from here, buddy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm actually happy to be home. I'm going to Melissa Etheridge Friday night.
Wow. I thought you'd be driving one of those pedal bars down.
I mean, that's not why I'm staying in town, just so everybody knows.
I'd love to go, but Melissa Etheridge, bring it.
We alternate travel, and I did Toronto. I'm old, man. I'm okay with sitting one out. Although Nashville's a great city, and for people that want to go down, they will love it because it is right there off Broadway, and Broadway's packed. And I mean, it's like being at Disney World for adults. Being in Nashville, it's a cool city.
Yeah, that on a Sunday would be kind of a dangerous combination trying to start the work week off that following Monday. As I was saying, the Colts back to practice today. It's the first full padded practice of camp. Weather looks, I think, okay. I know there was some rain chances in the forecast. Definitely going to be hot. A noon practice today, tomorrow, and Thursday. So basically, I think they're starting to get into this. And we talked a little bit about it with Chris Ballard yesterday. And for those that missed it, we'll replay some of those Ballard clips coming up a little bit later in the 7 o'clock hour. But I think they're trying to simulate a bit of a game week with their practice schedule. So if you look at the preseason schedule, the Colts will play their first preseason game a week from Saturday, and they'll play the next 2 Saturdays after that. So 3 preseason games all on Saturdays. If you look at their Grand Park schedule, pretty much every week from here on out is a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday practice. Again, trying to simulate and mimic a regular season, which is a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday practice, leading into a Sunday regular season game. So I think all of this is in an effort to try and break the 8-year drought of week 1.
By the way, as we continue to move forward with Colts Camp, happy to say, and thank you for joining us on board the Quack Daddy Donuts. Now, as we do our Camp Champ of the Day, each day where Kevin highlights somebody who has really stood out in camp, it's going to be brought to you by Quack Daddy Donuts in Westfield, the best maple bacon donuts, just 3 miles south of Colts Camp. So you're going up to Colts Camp. What better thing to do, right? You're taking the kids up. You're going up to camp.
What a
Why
great
not stop
name.
in? Totally. And
Quack
get some
Daddy Donuts?
That's right. Get some maple bacon donuts or any of their fabulous variety of donuts. QuackDaddyDonuts.com is their website.
You know, I don't know if you'll ever have any say in this, Jake, but if somehow I pass, just bury me in bacon.
Really?
Oh, I love it.
Why don't you kind of automatically become that?
Oh, well, jeez. I guess it depends on the crispiness of said bacon. Where are you on the 1 to 10 crispiness bacon scale?
You know,
If 10 is cement and 1 is right off the old.
I don't like it over. I'm not a huge bacon guy. Bacon's okay.
Okay. Man. Gosh.
Pigs are cool, man. Like, pigs are cool. I'm not going to go so far as to Pulp Fiction. I don't dig on those swine, but pigs are kind of cool. Like, I'd rather just kind of fist bump a pig and be like, all right, man, you be you. I don't need to necessarily be eating the bacon.
Yeah, I'm probably 7 or an 8.
I mean, I'll eat ham. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm not a vegetarian so far as to say, but bacon's good. I like it more this is going to sound crazy. I think I more enjoy the artificial flavoring. Thank you, Mark. Thank you. The artificial flavoring of bacon, if that makes sense.
Sounds like the Bobcat's cousin.
Fake bacon bits on salad's cool. So I guess that's crispy. But anyway.
Chris Ballard reaction from yesterday, Jake. There's a lot of things I think we can hit on with that. I did find it interesting, the T.Y. Hilton related discussion there. It sounds like there's still a decision in the T.Y. camp. And
correct.
Is that financially? Is that seeing Julio Jones' contract, there's a bit of a market value established for a guy that has a somewhat similar resume to T.Y. Hilton? Is that impacting some things? And, Ballard said yesterday that they are going to continue to let this play out for another week. And they seem like they want to give it to the end of this week before they potentially make a move there one way or the other.
Yeah, I mean, listen, my reaction to Ballard in terms of what he said, we'll break that down because we'll play a lot of that coming up probably about 35 minutes from now. And people that did not hear yesterday what Chris Ballard had to say on a number of different topics, you'll be able to hear it. Truthfully, I thought he was cool. I did have several people say to me, and when I say several, I mean literally like more than just like my mom. But I did have a lot of people say to me like, man, he was really smug. I didn't get that. Did you, Kevin?
I mean, certainly towards the end, he wasn't, I guess, super thrilled by that. I thought on the candid scale, he usually is pretty candid. I don't know, maybe he's in camp mode, a little bit less than normal there. I still thought there were different parts of the interview where you got a lot out of it. Some of the questions just need to be asked, frankly. And full well that the answer you get probably isn't going to be some earth-shattering news item, but when you get the GM just a couple of times a year, you've got to ask those questions. I don't know about smug. Ballard, I think, is a smooth operator, and he's going to...
I mean, he's definitely kind of a politician, right?
Yeah. I've always thought like there's some Brian Kelly and Chris Ballard. Both those guys kind of handle press conference settings pretty well. And, I thought T.Y., and I guess just veteran wideout-wise, he mentioned in there something to the effect of like, the veteran that we would add, they've been playing a long time. So is that T.Y.? Is it a Cole Beasley? Is it, I think Emmanuel Sanders is still out there. Like, who exactly would be that guy and what is that resume? I did find that interesting. And then the Ashton Dulin love is still there. Someone asked me yesterday, is this Ashton Dulin love just simply another training camp hype? I want to make this clear. Ashton Dulin has like 2 catches in the starting 11 right now in camp. So this is not, Mike Strawn, Deion Kane. I also feel like, Deion Kane, that story, Jake, you know this full well. Deion Kane played at Clemson for 3 years.
Yep.
He had 20 touchdowns in 3 years at Clemson. That is an astronomical number. At a program of that magnitude to record 20 touchdowns
he's a great player
in
there.
3 seasons. And then he tears his ACL like a month into camp, or probably less than a month, actually. So I always think to myself, Deion Kane looked really, really good until he tore his ACL.
Well, he was also a guy that, fell to what, the 7th round?
6, yeah.
I mean, how does he, 20 catches at Clemson, he falls to the 6th round?
I think mainly due to some off-the-field questions, if I'm not mistaken.
He was, as a freshman, when Clemson went to the national championship game, he was ineligible because of a drug test. I don't know how much that had to do with it. Probably, one would assume, didn't help him, right?
I think the Dulin hype is more of, and Jake, you would know this, and I mentioned Robert Mathis yesterday. Did Pierre Garçon impact on special teams first before he kind of emerged as a wideout? Do you recall that?
I don't recall that. I don't recall that being the...
Mathis definitely did.
Correct.
First special teams, and then eventually got a role. I think that's where Dulin is, and obviously, the fact that I just try to compare Mathis and Dulin is a bit ludicrous, and I hope people can all understand where I'm coming from on that. This is an undrafted guy that has earned the coaching staff's trust via special teams first, and as Frank Reich mentioned over the weekend, he knows all the positions, which is vital. So I don't think this is as much training camp hype as this is a multi-year process, and that the coaching staff feels good about putting him out there and wouldn't lose too much sleep if he were asked to play a notable role.
Excuse me. Other than watch Ozark, did you do anything fun and exciting last night?
Took Rosie to the park.
What park?
Right there at like 50. What is that? 54th in Illinois, 55th maybe. Yeah, I guess I should probably know the name of it. Yeah, 54th or 55th in Illinois. You know the park that is an awesome... Well, I don't know if I should say it, because then maybe people go to it. That park, like at 40th in Illinois, it's got like a water park that right next to those tennis courts.
Yes.
Water park. There, you can get ice cream in the middle of that. It is an awesome park.
Tarkington? I think that's it. Tarkington. Yep.
Is that what it is? I mean, just a great park as well. But yeah, took Rosie there. Maddie was super tired, and yeah, Maddie's starting to get very pregnant.
Have you been to Central Park in New York?
When I was like 10, 11.
Mark, you been to Central Park?
No, but in New York City, didn't go to Central Park. Wanted to. What? We were there quickly. It was a short trip.
It's like 40% of the island.
It was the middle of the night.
It's the middle of the island.
I'm not going to Central Park in the middle of the night.
Well, that's probably
Home
a good
Alone
call.
2 scared me straight.
Wait, hold on.
Is it really 40%?
I don't know about that, but it runs from... I mean, Central Park runs from, I got to think off the top of my head here, what, 68th or 70th to 118th? Is that right? 113th? It's, I don't know, about 40%. It's a huge part of the island.
I mean, when you think about it and try to put that in indie terms, that is
it's massive. But it is, I remember reading Tales of a Fourth Grade Nothing when I was a kid, and big part of that book is the park where Peter spends time on his rock in Central Park. And the reason I say this, Kevin, is because I think about for your daughter, like the vision I had in my mind as a little kid of that park and like being in the park and the ice cream salesman and all that. Like she'll never forget that stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, she'll never forget like going to the park with her dad and eating ice cream. It's just cool. Like, so for me, for New York City, it was not the Empire State Building or the World Trade Center or Madison Square Garden that like captivated me to New York. It was the envision in my mind of the park. Mm-hmm. Because as a kid, those are just magical places, man.
Yeah, it's, always a fun time for me. And, don't see her all day and just see her joy when we go to the park. It was a nice way to cap
Now, do you have a
Monday
dog?
there. No, we can hang out with the neighbor's dog.
Oh, you rent the neighbor's dog?
Well, rent is probably a bit aggressive, but she can wave to the neighbor's dog.
Does the neighbor dog ever come over to get a pat?
Roxy's a little wild, so we just kind of, Roxy is in a screened-in porch, so Roxy's just kind of yipping and yapping. Rosie acts like she's a big fan, but then gets close and a little bit more hesitant.
Mark, do your girls have a dog?
No, we had one. Don't have one anymore.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. No, this was like 2 years ago, so it's fine.
What was the dog's name?
Parker.
Jake, remember that list
okay.
I sent topics we don't bring up on the morning show? That was like number 2 on
What's that
list. Mark's dog, no longer with us.
That's fine.
He said it's been 2 years.
Yeah.
I get it, man.
We have allergy issues.
Oh, really? Well, you might want to look into that because they thought Jan Brady did too, and then they found out it was actually just a flea powder. So they got to keep Tiger after all.
I had a dog growing up, Rudy with an I.
Did you know that the dog that played Tiger on the Brady Bunch
is dead?
Well, yes, but here's the thing: the original
been a hell of a run if that dog was still
going
living.
strong.
The original Tiger, unfortunately, met an unfortunate demise versus a car on set. And so the final episode of Tiger, where they thought they were going to have to give Tiger away, he's sitting on the floor and the boys are all petting him. That's actually a stray that they found morning of the shooting when they realized that, not the shooting, but of the filming. When they realized the real Tiger had unfortunately met his demise, they went to the Los Angeles Animal Care and Control, found a dog that looked like Tiger. He was very rambunctious because he wasn't a trained professional acting dog. So they stapled his collar to the floor so he couldn't move, and he laid there while the boys pet it, and they filmed it, and then they took him back to the animal shelter.
Like PETA would have a word with that.
God. Talk
Isn't that
about
a
things
lovely
that
story?
would certainly not fly today.
Correct.
Hey, we
Isn't that a
killed this
lovely
dog.
story?
Let's staple this other one to the floor.
Speaking of Tiger, did you see the number that Tiger Woods turned down from the Saudi Golf League?
$700 to $800 million, right? Excellent transition there, by the way.
Can you imagine?
Did he turn it down?
That's what Norman said. Norman said they offered it to him. Greg Norman, the president of Saudi Golf League, CEO.
Allow me to ask this: did Tiger Woods turn that down because A, he is morally opposed to the Saudi money and can't see himself aligning with that? B,
morals and Tiger in the same sentence, probably never a good thing.
B, he doesn't think it's good golf. C, his body just can't handle it. Or D, he has enough money, he doesn't care.
Yeah, probably the easy answer is some combination. His quotes at the British Open a few weeks back, Jake, the B answer there, which I forget exactly what you said, but just not great competition or not real competition. I think that really matters to him. I don't know how well people know this about golf, and I think tennis is in a similar boat. There's not like there's a draft for golf, or if you're the best college golfer, you automatically get to be on the PGA Tour. Tiger Woods had to earn his PGA Tour card like anyone else had to earn their PGA Tour card. Yes, he benefited from some sponsors exemptions, but he had to play well in those sponsors exemptions to then get status into the major championships. Then obviously he won the Masters at a very young age, and he was well established from then on. And I think just how LIV operates really bothers Tiger. But, $700, $800 million. Holy, can you imagine?
LIV Golf has said that they are absolutely in need of a TV contract. Interesting, because I remember when we were talking about it, and I was saying, it's going to be hard for them without a TV contract. And somebody said, dude, you're a moron. All they need is YouTube. And I'm like, I'm just telling you. I get that people watch YouTube and YouTube TVs. I get all that. But the money that is there for live television sports programming among the major networks is such that it's really hard to bypass.
Well, again, do they want to make money? which I know sounds like a ludicrous question, but I think it's serious. I mean, they're willing to offer Tiger Woods $700, $800 million. I don't think money's too much of an issue. So the lack of corporate sponsors, the lack of a TV contract for year one doesn't seem to be too big of an issue for them.
At the end of the day, we absolutely need a broadcast deal, said their president, that is needed for any health sports league. Our objective this year has been to stand up the product, let fans take it in, and give us feedback on what's working, what's not working. We very much are looking forward to this summer of going into those conversations with broadcasters with the hope of having a broadcast deal for next year, end quote. Will they?
Any of the networks jump out at you?
That's a good question because I do think...
Because I think something to keep in mind, Jake, think about the networks that are already in bed with the PGA Tour.
In addition to that, I think that there is enough stigma, be it fair or not, without taking a side on it, but I think there is enough stigma of attachment to a government that is seen as corrupt by a lot of Americans that some networks would be very hesitant to align with.
You got NBC, CBS, ESPN, Golf Channel, all of those already contractually obligated to the PGA Tour, so that'll be an interesting development for LIV Golf. Full pads coming on today at Colts camp. It's a noon practice today, tomorrow, and Thursday. I think you're going to get some truer evaluations. I've always thought this about the full pads coming on, Jake. If you kind of do a 1 to 10 scale, let's say 10 is regular season football, I felt like the first couple of practices the Colts have had at camp, you're kind of evaluating things like on a 3 to 4 on that 1 to 10 scale. When you get the full pads on, I think now you're like a 7-ish, right around there. So position battles that we'll go over a little bit today. Posted something on 1075thefan.com about that. We're starting to see a little bit of separation there. But as Chris Ballard even mentioned yesterday, specifically offensive line-wise, you get the truer evaluations coming up. And if you guys missed any of that Chris Ballard interview, we'll play a few of the highlights a little bit later here in the 7 o'clock hour. Looks like a nice Tuesday morning. It's going to be steamy. I think a little bit of rain chance, but hopefully those will hold off as the Colts are back outdoors at Grand Park. Kevin and Query on a Tuesday, 93.5, 107.5, The Fan.
It's time for camp. No, not that camp. We're talking Colts training camp.
Kevin Bowen here at Grand Park. Colts back to work.
So now we can ask the big questions.
Consistently much better this year. The wide receiver core is a concern.
They would have liked to have seen some sort of veteran move there.
The Colts have just disregarded.
The NFL season countdown is underway. It's Colts camp.
42 ISO X Flash. I want
on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
With a limited time Strawberry Frosty, time to enjoy yourself is built in. They're basically made to slow down and relax. So when it's time for Frosty time, choose wisely. Choose Wendy's. Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's.
Hey, it's JMV at Race Trash Service. They're all about protecting the environment while bringing cost savings to you. Natural resources are going up in price, and landfill space is disappearing. So Ray's is committed to preserving the Hoosier environment and serving Central Indiana with efficient, cost-effective, and responsible waste removal and recycling solutions. They're one of the largest recyclers in the state of Indiana with customer rebates on paper, cardboard, and so much more. Visit raystrash.com to see how they can bring recycling solutions to your organization.
Mom, Dad, I humbly suggest you save some money and shop Amazon for back to school. It's for my growth, meaning my body's growing at an alarming rate. And clothes you buy me this year will be very small very soon. Plus, the clothes I love today will be out of style tomorrow. But at least your wallet doesn't have to be my fashion victim if you shop low prices for school at Amazon. Hopefully this is helpful. Amazon. Spend less, smile more.
It's time for the Crest Point Real Estate Market Minute.
It's Terry Stacy, and with us is Patrick Keller, managing broker and owner of Crest Point Real Estate, Indy's real estate experts.
Hey Terry, this week I'd like to put things into perspective in regards to real estate. Obviously the headlines have been talking about how real estate is changing due to higher interest rates and it's not as favorable to purchase. 6 months ago when rates were about 3.5% to 3.75%, if you were interested in a $300,000 house, you likely would have had to spend about $330,000 or $340,000 on that home to win it. Today, that $300,000 house, you're likely to spend $300,000 on it. With the increase in interest rates, the mortgage payment on that $300,000 house is ironically very similar to the $300,000 listed house 6 months ago. What we're seeing is that it's a pretty even wash right now, and you have an opportunity.
Get your home value estimate in 60 seconds at patrickkeller.realtor.
Everyone here knows Diamonds Direct is the place to go for the best diamonds at the best prices. But did you know that savvy buyers from all over America, even Los Angeles and New York, now come here to buy their diamonds? These high-end shoppers have discovered that Diamonds Direct has one of America's best selections of large, rare diamonds, from 3 carats to 20 carats, all certified by the GIA, the most reputable and most trusted gem lab in the world. Because of Diamonds Direct's international connections and tremendous buying power, we're one of only a handful of jewelry stores in America that is able to offer a large selection of rare and precious GIA diamonds. In fact, Diamonds Direct's multi-million-dollar selection includes a stunning array of high-end Riviera necklaces, 20-carat tennis bracelets, and an extraordinary collection of rare, precious gemstones, rubies, sapphires, emeralds, and even the really hard-to-find fancy yellow diamonds. Come see why Diamonds Direct right here is the destination for high-end shoppers all over America. Extraordinary selection, quality, and unmatched value. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. DiamondsDirect.com.
Hello, I'm Joe Cordell of the domestic litigation firm Cordell & Cordell. Here are a few quick divorce tips that we provide our clients. Number 1, don't move out of your house just because your wife tells you to. Remember, that's your house too. And number 2, don't blow through the financial statements that you file with the court. These are key exhibits, and they often make or break your case. And number 3, watch the social networking. Expect your wife's lawyer to do a thorough online search. And incidentally, this is a two-way street. Now, a bonus tip. Partner with your attorney in assembling evidence. You're one of the 2 leading experts on your life and marriage. Your attorney needs your input to achieve your goals. And finally, talk to your attorney before taking action. Good luck.
Contact the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Indianapolis area attorneys, a partner men can count on. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Cordell & Cordell, 101 West Ohio Street, Suite 1100, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46204.
What's happening with The Fan?
Join JMV and 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan this Thursday at Twin Peaks for JMV's live broadcast. We'll be passing out swag and talking all things football as we head into training camp. And who doesn't like ice cold beer and great food? So come on out and see us, talk about the Colts, raise a mug, and join in all the fun from 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
For more info, click on 1075thefan.com.
The Morning Checkdown. Brought to you by QC Kinetics, relieving your joint pain at QCkinetics.com on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Major League Baseball last night, it was the Cincinnati Redlegs continuing to show that they are the most Jekyll and Hyde team in Major League Baseball. 3-1. They've got a 3-game win streak. Hunter Green, now a whopping 4-12, by the way. Also, speaking of feast or famine. 3-1 winners over the Miami Marlins. Now, did wins over the Marlins count in Major League Baseball?
The Reds will take anything. Anything at this point.
Probably the Marlins also probably looking at the Reds like, does that count? Anyway, Mets over the Nationals 7-3. It was the Pods over the Rockies 4-1. Dodgers over the rival Giants 8-2. In the American League, it was the Royals over the White Sox 2-1. Yanks over the Mariners 7-2. Cute fella by the same score over the Texas Rangers, and in interleague play, Cleveland over Arizona 6-5. Indianapolis Indians idle yesterday?
Yeah, they got the Bats coming up this weekend, or I should say this week. So that is a home.
I wonder if Buddy will be there
for them. And the Seattle Mariners announced that Luis Castillo, former Red, will make his Seattle debut. That will actually be in the Bronx on Wednesday afternoon. So kind of an interesting matchup given the Yankees and their activity at the trade deadline.
By the way, speaking of the Yankees and the Mariners, 1994, when I was interning in New York City, myself and 3 guys that lived in the building I lived in, we were all like, let's go to a Yankees game this weekend. Yankees were not very good. This was the summer of 94, probably 3 weeks before the strike. But we went to the Yankee game. We bought the cheapest tickets we could because we were starving college kids. Sat up in the upper right deck of old Yankee Stadium. Kid you not, Kevin, true story. I've always thought this was cool. Literally, like midway through the 4th inning, 4 business guys, like full suits, the whole deal. It was an afternoon game. Came up and they're like, hey, we just want to sit up here and like drink beer and hang out and just be guys. Like, yeah, I'm like, you guys want our seats? And they swapped us seats, and 5 minutes later we were sitting. I'll never forget sliding in to sit down in my seat 3 rows behind home plate as Ken Griffey Jr. was coming to bat.
Boom. Gosh, that's a hell of a way to spend an afternoon.
Pretty cool, man. Pretty cool.
No swooshes for us. We've got a frozen computer issue right now.
Now, they told us not to mention computers on the air, Kevin.
Colts camp back
Mark,
to practice.
You want
I'm trying to engineer this thing.
File your LinkedIn. Kevin just mentioned the computers.
It's a noon session today, tomorrow, and Thursday.
New ownership coming. He's already complaining.
First full padded practice of training camp is today.
Do you need my keys, Mark, to open up the panel?
I need a flathead screwdriver.
Mark has a shutdown computer that is prohibiting us from running the fabulous audio we were going to play for you, but you don't have a Phillips head screwdriver?
No, I need to go into engineering and find one. No one's here right now.
Try my. I don't know what key this.
I use my bottle opener.
To.
That tells you how many problems I've got.
You carry a bottle opener?
After the last 8 days I've had, yes.
That's stage 1, buddy. As you were saying, Kevin?
Yeah, it'll be a noon session today.
He's wearing a Leinenkugel shirt. He's got a bottle opener.
Sponsor me, please.
Sunday is sold out. That is the Colts' final weekend practice of training camp, and that is already sold out. That will be a noon practice as well.
He's literally trying to unlock the computer panel with my car key. What?
Might not be able to get into your apartment anymore.
May I ask you something? Sure. What exactly were you going to do once you removed the wall?
I mean, I had to work overnights before, so I've had to do some last-second engineering before. So I'm going to pop the board out. I'm going to replace the mouse if I can. So you guys just need to drag it out a little bit.
He's a multifaceted individual, Mark.
Wait a minute.
Mark Dykton.
Wait a minute. So Mark is, for those that are not here, which is all of you, I realize, Mark sits behind a large kiosk that is a console, essentially, and he pushes the buttons that play the audio that you hear. And the computer, this happens anywhere, in any line of work, occasionally freezes up. And so you've decided now that removing the wall of the console is going to help you?
You have to remove the wall and then unplug the mouse, and then I have to go find
There's
a new mouse.
There's a mouse in there?
Well, this thing, come on.
Well, why? The mouse is right there. Why do you have to go to the wall to unplug?
See, there's no light. It's dead. It won't move.
This isn't your first rodeo.
No.
Why don't you just change the battery in it?
There's no battery to change. This is a plug-in.
See, this is advanced computer fixing. Yesterday, Jake was having issues with Microsoft PowerPoint.
Oh, let me tell you something.
But now Mark is
Well, you're asking Chris Ballard for advice, and he's like, I can't help you.
Speaking of Chris Ballard, we are going to play the highlights.
Maybe. We'll see.
Chris Ballard kind of threw it in my face that he has a degree, and I didn't. Did you notice that?
Is that how you took it?
I mean, I didn't take it that way. Other people did. I actually didn't. But
oh, really? Gosh, I didn't even.
Because I mentioned to him that I was finishing for my degree, and then later when you asked him a question, he's like, Kevin, I do have a college degree, so I can probably get another job.
Oh, gosh. Wow.
Okay.
Oh. Is there a rivalry brewing here?
No, I don't know him at all. I had no problem with him. Other people told me they thought he was smug.
Well, if you missed it, we'll play some of those highlights, hopefully, coming back next year.
Do we know yet?
No promises.
Kevin Aquari on a Tuesday.
The NTT IndyCar Series races through the streets of Nashville. Sunday at 3 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
America's leading internet provider just got even faster. Switch to Spectrum Internet, and you now get starting speeds of up to 300 megabits per second. Faster speeds for streaming, faster speeds for gaming, faster speeds for working or learning, all with 99.9% network reliability. So no matter what you do online, you can do it better, safer, and now even faster with Spectrum Internet. Visit Spectrum.com for details. Based on internet subscribers among top ISPs, speeds may vary. Restrictions apply.
Helzberg Diamonds presents The Guy Who Got It Right. Tim needed an engagement ring. He did research, listened to hints from his fiance's friends.
She wants a lab-grown, oval-cut, and white gold with a halo.
And he went to Helzberg Diamonds. At Helzberg, Tim found an incredible selection of high-quality, lab-grown, and natural diamonds. He also found the ring she really wanted.
Nailed it. She is gonna freak.
Be like Tim. Find the ring of her dreams at a Helzberg near you or at Helzberg.com. Ask now about special financing offers.
Hey, it's JMV for the absolute best in realty. Marc Dietel Realty. 317-755-4232. That's 317-755-4232. Online, markdietel.com. That's markdietel.com. Today. So, how about Randy in Indianapolis? Had a rental property. He was ready to sell to cash out in on a hot market. Selling fast was good, but more importantly, he was looking to sell for the top dollar. Marc Dietel delivered on both. He got 20 offers and sold for $15,000 over the asking price in just a few weeks. That's why Marc Dietel's the best. Marc Dietel has a guarantee for you. Multiple offers on your home in 3 days, or he is going to list it for free. That's Marc Dietel Realty, 317-755-4232, 317-755-4232. MarkDietel.com. That's MarkDietel.com today.
Hubler really does have it all. All of our pre-owned vehicles are Hubler Q certified, which include a 128-point vehicle inspection, a free Carfax vehicle history report, and 2 warranties. A 2-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, and a 30-day, 1,000-mile comprehensive warranty. Visit any of our 13 locations today, or click drivehubler.com.
Hubler has it all. Cards issued by Celtic Bank, member FDIC. Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's credit cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp's software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 3.3% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp for free. Just go to ramp.com/sports. Ramp.com/sports. ramp.com/sports.
You know, with Mark running around our studio right now, he might have a little joint pain after this.
Did Mark? What did you? Do we have? Is the FCC here?
Well, they might not be, but QC Kinetics could be getting a call from Mr. Mark Dykton. If you've got joint pain and you're looking to get back moving again and enjoying life, QC Kinetics is the place to go. They've got locations in Eagle Creek and Greenwood to get you helped and get you back moving.
Mark just said he needs me to jiggle something. Is that right?
Again.
What are we doing here?
It's a dog and pony show right now.
Trying to give help to our listeners right now. QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. They have offices in Eagle Creek and Greenwood. It's advanced, exciting, natural alternatives that can give you lasting relief using your body's own healing power. Listen, steroid shots are toxic to your joints. Pain meds are addictive, and nobody wants to go under the knife. So you can get help today via QC Kinetics. Give them a call and schedule your free consultation. Again, locations in Eagle Creek and Greenwood, 463-235-7160. QC Kinetics, 463-235-7160.
More than 100 million wild animals are killed each year, illegally. Poaching is just one of the risks animals face at our hands. I'm Tom Barry. I'm an actor. I grew up in the beautiful rural countryside of Ohio, where animals roamed freely in the open forests. I have a deep concern to help preserve those open spaces for our wildlife friends so they can live and thrive like they used to. Destruction of their habitats threaten their very existence. The best way to protect wildlife is to protect the land where they live. The Humane Society Wildlife Land Trust works with private landowners to protect wildlife, to preserve natural habitats, and establish permanent sanctuaries. To learn more or to work with the Humane Society Wildlife Land Trust, call 800-729-SAVE. That's 800-729-SAVE. Or visit wildlifelandtrust.org. Thank you.
It's Kevin and Query on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
I don't even know what just
That
happened.
was a team effort right there. That was a
I
group
didn't do
effort.
anything.
I know, you were filming like you were watching a fight video going on.
So let's recap what just happened here.
Never a doubt there.
So your mouse came unplugged?
Somehow, yeah.
And so you had to take the side paneling off.
Yeah.
Which I think you might have sworn, right?
Oh, no, I didn't. There was no mic to it. I definitely did.
The side paneling looks like NASA.
I took the wall off, and then you saw what I was looking at. That's where the F-bomb came from.
I mean, there's like 1,000 wires, and you had to figure out which one goes to the mouse?
Yeah.
So you actually said, and I believe I heard this correctly, I'm going to jiggle this. Kevin, you see if it moves.
Yep.
And then Kevin got down amongst the ball of wires and said, there it is. And then you captured the mouse, right?
We got it a little unplugged, plug it back in. You know, it's like back in the Nintendo 64 days when the game's not working, you just take the game out.
Yeah.
I wish it was
Put
as
it back
easy as
in.
blowing on a cartridge.
And boom. So now we can play the Chris Ballard audio?
That was
We
impressive.
can. We can do whatever you want right now. We're living the high life.
Quite the lead into that. All right. If you guys missed it, some highlights yesterday. Chris Ballard joined us later in the show. Here is the Colts general manager.
Well, this is Jake's question. He's talking about if there's if you were taking a course and everything, if there's one big concern.
Oh, I was
Ballard's
saying
biggest
this
concern.
environmental conservation class that I'm taking, this final project, is like keeping me up at night because I can't wrap my head around it. So I wanted to know, what is it that is keeping him up? What is the one thing that is his mental hurdle that he just can't feel like he grasps? I'm taking a college class right now, right? And I have this one assignment that everything's gone well, and for whatever reason, this one assignment's like this mental hurdle to me. Like I just can't get my head around it. What is your assignment with this team that is your mental hurdle that is keeping you awake, that you just is the one area you just don't feel like you have a grasp on yet?
I don't know. I mean, it's always, like, we're obsessed with depth and making sure we have enough depth. And I don't ever feel good. I mean, I just don't. I mean, that's why you'll see so many transactions, during the season even. And it's not just finding 53 players, it's finding another 16 on the practice squad that when injuries do happen, you can go to one of those guys. So that keeps me up at night, making sure we have enough depth. And when it really starts to, rear its ugly head, you want to have a hold the fort player. Look, you're never going to replace an all-pro player at that point when something happens, but you want to be able to have a hold the fort player that you can win with. And that's something that keeps me up.
Chris, I do have to ask, just full well, I got to ask another wideout question. Last week, you mentioned you guys were still having some discussions on potentially adding a veteran. A week later, are you having more discussions, less discussions? Where does that stand?
I think we'll get through this week, and then we'll assess where we're at. We like what we've seen so far, but it's still so early. We got to let this thing play out a little bit. And the veteran players, we would add, they've been playing a long time and they know how to play the game. And so I don't see it as much as a transition. And sometimes you got to look for maybe the help that you're really going to need is week 5, 6, 7, and 8. It's a long season. So I don't ever always look at it this way. So the first 4 weeks of the season, we're trying to, you're trying to go out and win every game you can, but you're also trying to figure out, okay, who are we? Who are we as a team? And what do we do really good? And then where are the areas that we have some deficiencies at? And once you figure that out, that's how you're going to play. Getting into October, in September, you can start plugging some of those holes that you have, if you have any. And then in October, really refining it and playing to the strengths of your team. So when you get into November, December, and January, you're playing good. You're playing good football and you're playing to your strengths.
Back in February, you mentioned, and I'm paraphrasing a bit here, we can't act like, Parris is our number 2 or number 3 on the depth chart. I think you would probably agree right now Parris would be that. given the nature of your depth chart. What happened this offseason to where, as you guys unfolded, that it ended up being Parris is still your number 2 or number 3 entering the season?
Well, I mean, I don't know if we can say that yet. Parris has had a good start, but so is Pierce and so is Doolin. Patman's done some good things. You know, when Strong got hurt late in camp and not being able to get these reps, you know, that adjusted some things. But we still got a long way to go here. Parris has had a great start, and I'm proud of him and happy for him, you know, because he's worked so hard. He's a very talented young man. But I think we got to let this thing play out. I mean, one of the guys that, like Doolin, like we just kind of gloss over Doolin sometimes. And, you know, all he does is every time he gets an opportunity, he produces. So it'll be interesting to see these guys battle it out here over the next month.
Do you believe T.Y. Hilton will play a game still in his career for the Indianapolis Colts?
That's a loaded question.
It's a direct one.
I think everybody knows my feelings for T.Y., and I do think he can still be a contributor in this league, and we'll work through that one.
You know, the one thing, Chris, that I have not heard, and that is we have all, fans and media alike, speculated that from the standpoint of Chris Ballard, but I have yet to really hear anybody try to figure out the standpoint of T.Y. Hilton. Do you believe that if you were interested in T.Y. Hilton coming back, that he would immediately jump at that? Or is that a conversation that would have to take place? No,
that's a conversation that has to take place, and I have great respect for him and care for T.Y. And he's just a true professional, and then to watch his growth, you know, from 17 to, you know, the last year was just really fun to watch. He's a leader. But that's a discussion that would have to happen.
Has it in any way, like from an exploratory standpoint, started to take place?
See, that's another loaded question. So you just keep leading me down this road here. I think I answered a while ago. We're going to let it play out a week, and then we'll start making some decisions.
I know the AFC South drought spans before you arrived here, but with that drought and just how last season ended, do you feel that you and or Frank, I guess, are on any sort of hot seat entering this season?
I never worry about that, Kev. I mean, we just if you start worrying about that, you can't do your job, you know. So we think we've had some really good football teams. We've done some good things here under some pretty tough circumstances, and that's why I give Frank a lot of credit. You know, he's had a different quarterback every year, and we've stayed relevant. Have we won at the rate we think we should have won at? No. Although we were a good football team last year, I think you know by the mood we were all in at the end of the year. You know, you're 9-6, and you've already beaten, you know, a few playoff teams along the way in Buffalo and New England and Arizona, and then you melt down at the end. I mean, they all count. So finishing and playing more consistently through the season is important. But I promise you, there's no more pressure that we put on ourselves. We don't feel mine's more of a lack. My pressure comes, I feel like I'm letting, you know, the city and the organization down when we don't get the job done. It's never one that I worry about my job. I mean, I've got a degree, Kevin. I can get I can go do something else. Hey. I mean, I love what I do, but, you know, I can go get another one.
Chris, Frank has spoken pretty highly of the tempo that Matt Ryan has wanted to practice at, and I guess you guys have practiced at here through the first couple of days. To kind of the average fan, where do you think they will see the strengths of Matt Ryan this season?
Well, it doesn't take long because he's got a good presence about him and confidence, which I think all good quarterbacks have. There's just an innate confidence that no matter what's going on, we're going to find a way to get it done. And the decision making and how fast his mind works to get the ball where it needs to go is one thing I think they'll notice. And that's the one thing about the offense. And that's always been Frank's offense. You know, get the ball out of your hands, get the ball in the hands of your playmakers. And that's where the 1-2 receiver, they're going to spread the ball around. That's that Matt made the comment to me. He goes, it's nice because, in this offense, we're going to have a multitude of players that catch balls because I'm going to throw it to who's open, and the defense dictates me to throw the football. So I think that's things you're going to see. And then from a leadership standpoint, just who he is and what he stands for. And it's been fun to be around.
Chris, any Shaquille Leonard update? You expect him to practice at Grand Park at all?
I don't know yet. We won't rush it. I mean, when he's ready, he's ready. He's doing good. He's in a good spot mentally, and he's working his tail off to get back. So when he's back, he'll be back.
And then I probably know the answer on this, but I'll ask anyways. Do you expect a Quenton Nelson contract extension before week 1?
We'll see. We'll work through it. I know we like him, and we'd like to keep him here. So we'll work through it.
Is left tackle a competition right now, or is that pretty much Pryor's job to lose, and then Ryman will get some opportunity, to use your word, at depth?
Yeah, it's a competition. It's an open competition, and Ryman will get his fair assessment, amount of reps so we can assess where he's at. He's a really talented player, but so is Matt. I mean, Matt, when he played for us last year, man, he played good, and every time he played, he's such a big body. For being such a big body, he's a good athlete. He's got really good punch and strength. He's had a great start to camp. He's got himself in really good shape. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. And at the end of the day, we'll try to get the best 5, on the field, with 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 being important pieces for the season.
If you missed any of that, the full Chris Ballard interview up on our podcast page, Kevin and Query. And that was from yesterday, a few of the highlights there on that. I do think that left tackle competition, just kind of expanding off that answer. Now the full pads are coming on. It'll be interesting to see if we see any rotation yet from either left tackle or right guard, because so far it's been Matt Pryor and Danny Pinter taking every single starting rep. Jake, when I hear that again, a couple things kind of stand out to me. We talked about this last week a little bit with Matt Ryan. The quicker rhythm, getting the ball out, not only on time, but on point, hitting guys in stride, things like that. This is going to be a quarterback that I think provides that older generation style of Drew Brees and Peyton and Eli Manning and Roethlisberger and Brady, those types of QBs, of playing more from the pocket. Again, sticking to all about timing. When we had Jeff Saturday on that last fall, and I believe we will have Jeff Saturday on again this football season as well, so looking forward to those conversations. Jeff Saturday brought up the point of the offense's number one goal is to achieve perfect timing. That is just the entire goal of the offense. Can we have the best timing possible, play in and play out? And that is exactly where the Colts feel like Matt Ryan creates more of a strength for them at the quarterback spot. He maybe not wow you with a lot of off-script stuff, things like that. The vertical passing game is not going to be, as abundant as maybe some other teams. But again, can you get the perfect rhythm and timing that this offense was lacking last season?
Doesn't he strike you, Matt Ryan, more so than what they've seen in a while, as just maybe even more so, to be honest with you, than Peyton Manning, as crazy as that sounds, as a rhythm quarterback? A guy that, once all of a sudden the pace is going and he's in rhythm, he just is a precise boom, 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 boom down the field guy. You mix in Taylor, obviously that helps.
Yeah,
but
death by 1,000 paper cuts, sort of kind of methodically moving your way down the field. Curious your guys' thoughts on that. At Kate
That'd be
Bowen,
an awful way to go. 1,000 paper cuts.
1070. I think one paper cut, and I've thought, boy, am I going 6 feet under?
Wait till you get on blood thinners.
Oh, yeah, jeez. That's a great point. At Jake Query on Twitter, 317-239-1070. I do think the wide receiver stuff, TY related, again, let it play out for a week.
I should have said, what's a week going to do any different?
I think someone brought up a good point. Someone texted this to me a little bit earlier, Jake. Again, Ballard mentioned, TY's side of things is not a slam dunk of wanting to come back either. saying that T.Y.'s camp could be waiting for a big-name wideout to get injured. So instead of getting $5 million, you're getting $8 or $10 million. You're getting a team that's a little bit more desperate.
Even not a big name, maybe so much as just a rotational piece somewhere. A Sammy Watkins, right? A guy that's just a piece that a team is relying on. He goes down, and then it's like, well, we got to find somebody that can go in there, and we know we can plug and play.
I mean, Jake, if Alec Pierce were to go down today, the Colts would be desperate.
Yeah.
Desperate for a wideout move. I was listening to you and JMV for a couple minutes last night, and you brought this up. It's not that you are banking on one of Campbell, Pierce, Doolin to emerge. You're banking on all of them.
Yes.
You need to hit 3 for 3 there, not 1 for 3. And I think that's what adds to the stress at wideout.
And the law of averages says what? I hate to say this. Not because of the Colts, whatever else. Certainly not wishing this at all, but the law of average in the NFL, Kevin, is that at some point one of those guys is going to need some time.
Sure.
Right?
I did find this interesting. Michael Pittman met the media, I think it was a couple days ago now, but he was asked specifically about Alec Pierce and was pretty adamant that Pierce's ability to handle the playbook and handle playing multiple positions light years ahead of where Michael Pittman was as a rookie. And I think a lot of people felt like Pittman coming out of USC, playing for multiple offensive coordinators, having to deal with multiple quarterbacks, that he was pretty advanced from a college receiver standpoint on making this adjustment from a pro standpoint to the pro level, I should say. So I think that is good news on the Alec Pierce front of mentally they don't feel like it is too big for him, and that was obviously an issue last year for a guy like Mike Strong.
That's still a big ask, though, isn't it? I mean,
big ask, but it's important that mentally he feels like he can handle it. It doesn't mean that all of a sudden he's going to have 800 yards as a rookie, but I think that is a good note there on the rookie out of Cincinnati.
If you look at great receivers in Colts history, in terms of as Indianapolis Colts, right? I mean, I'm not talking Raymond Berry here, but Marvin Harrison as a rookie. Now, if I recall, I for some reason I was thinking Marvin Harrison as a rookie got hurt. I guess it was actually Peyton Manning's rookie year that Marvin Harrison got hurt. Marvin Harrison as a rookie, pretty solid, 64 for 836. You'd take that out of any of them, right?
Oh, without a doubt.
I mean, that's an 8 TDs. That's a huge rookie year.
Now, to be fair, Marvin was drafted, 30-some spots ahead of Alec Pierce? More than that? Where was Marvin? Late teens?
He was, 18?
Something around there.
An interesting note, where they got the pick?
Boy, I'd be guessing Steve Ettman trade. I don't know.
Jeff George. They traded Jeff George to Atlanta with a conditional, and that conditional was that if Atlanta made the playoffs with George, that the Colts would get a first round pick out of Atlanta, and that became Marvin. That happened, and so therefore they took Marvin Harrison.
Wow.
Reggie Wayne is a rookie.
Now he battled injuries.
He did. Still started 9 games, played in 13 of them. 27 catches for 345.
Yeah, we did this around the draft, Jake. When you look at, if you take it a step further, Anthony Gonzalez, Philip Dorsett, both first-round picks. Michael Pittman as a second-rounder. When you look at their rookie seasons, not a lot of it is going to jump off the page at you.
That's what I mean. I mean, typically it takes...
Realistic expectations for Alec Pierce should probably be in the 400-yard area. Which I know sounds like a small... that's 30-some yards a game? That sounds like a small number. But if you look at these guys, and you just brought up one, that's typically where they hover around.
Jerome Pathon, 50 catches, 511 yards. And that was with the rookie quarterback. Hell, I'd take that right now, right? Out of Alec Pierce, if you can get 511 yards out of him, would you be happy?
Sign me up, right? I mean, seriously.
I know.
And obviously, Campbell would be more of a availability standpoint. So we'll continue to have this conversation. We'll do that coming up in the 8 o'clock hour. Our Camp Champ Award, courtesy of Quack Daddy Donuts in Westfield, where the best maple bacon donuts reside. 3 miles south of Colts Camp. That is quackdaddydonuts.com. We'll hand that out and update you on some position battles for the Colts. Also in the 9 o'clock hour, Bob Kravitz is going to join us. Pretty adamant that Myles Turner does not want to remain in Indiana. We'll chat about that with Bob Kravitz coming up in the 9 o'clock hour. Kevin and Query on a Tuesday.
Put on your helmet. It's about to get real.
Greg Cosell. What does the tape show on why Ryan is an upgrade over Wentz?
Ryan is a more consistent player. He's always been at his best when he's had a run game as well, and clearly that's the starting point of the Colts offense. Ryan makes nuanced, detailed plays on a more consistent basis, and those are the kinds of plays that often can be the difference in games.
Dan Dockage, weekdays noon to 3 on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Armor Air is more than a heating and cooling company. They cover it all. Their service fee is only $29. ArmorAir.com. Day or night, they do what's right.
Being present and in the moment for family activities was impossible because Will Burt was so focused on the constant pain in his leg.
My wife likes to take walks. I always kind of dreaded going on walks because they hurt. The boys both play baseball. I coach their teams. I was going to do them and be in pain and be uncomfortable and kind of sacrifice my own health.
An old Achilles injury left Will coping with agonizing pain until he discovered the natural biologic treatments at QC Kinetics. No surgery or steroids. The procedure took place in the office, and Will walked right out.
I feel great. There's no pain. There's no tenderness.
Patients like Will are feeling amazing and living their best lives.
Ironically, just got off the golf course today, so I think that's a good telltale sign that the Achilles is feeling better.
Don't be in pain another day. Call QC Kinetics for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 463-235-7160. That's 463-235-7160. In Eagle Creek and Greenwood, 463-235-7160.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. The year started off with super high rates, but for the last 6 weeks, mortgage interest rates have dropped. A lot of banks and lenders are still charging those high rates, but at thehomeloanexpert.com, our rates are over a quarter point lower than the national average. With lower rates and a 10-day closing guarantee, we can have you in the home of your dreams by the end of the month. Ready to get pre-approved? Visit thehomeloanexpert.com.
The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
O'Reilly. Improve your vehicle's gas mileage and power with Royal Purple Fuel Injector Cleaner at O'Reilly Auto Parts. And right now, buy 1 6-ounce bottle and get one free, plus earn double O Rewards points with your purchase. Save money on gas and boost performance with Royal Purple Fuel Injector Cleaner at O'Reilly Auto Parts or O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
America's leading internet provider just got even faster. Switch to Spectrum Internet, and you now get starting speeds of up to 300 megabits per second. Faster speeds for streaming, faster speeds for gaming, faster speeds for working or learning, all with 99.9% network reliability. So no matter what you do online, you can do it better, safer, and now even faster with Spectrum Internet. Visit Spectrum.com for details. Based on internet subscribers among top ISPs, speeds may vary. Restrictions apply.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
WIBC HD2 W298BB. WIBC HD3 W228CX Indianapolis. Padres, Dodgers, Sunday Night Baseball. The coverage begins at 6 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
You're listening to Kevin and Query on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
8 o'clock hour is underway in Indianapolis. Technically, the 8 o'clock hour is underway everywhere in the Eastern time zone. My name is Jake Query. Kevin Bowen here as well. It's Kevin and Query on 93.5, 107.5 The Fan, and doing his best Tim Allen impersonation of the day. Excuse me?
That's what he always used to do.
Okay. That's Marc Dykton, who, after laying carpet in his new house, all of a sudden decided he'd get handy and took walls outside of the computer modules here.
That was good teamwork.
I'll make this more of an open floor plan. I think I'm going to blow out this wall, and we'll see what we can do. You guys like breakfast nooks?
You said it was good teamwork. I didn't do anything but sit and laugh.
You sat, you laughed, and you recorded video.
Well, you dropped an F-bomb.
I did.
You became a sailor. Well, I don't know that it was off air or not.
It wasn't picked up.
Fortunately, you, I think, muted the mic before you. We have upcoming, by the way, our Camp Champ of the Day, brought to you by Quack Daddy Donuts in Westfield. The best maple bacon donuts reside just 3 miles south of Colts Camp and are a fabulous spot. Fabulous. We talked about Kevin taking his daughter to the park and enjoying ice cream. One of my favorite memories from childhood was on the town square in Shelbyville. My dad and I would go, and, man, I felt like a man getting donuts with my dad. So if you're going to go out to Colts camp, taking the kids out, or if you're just going on your own, right there in Westfield, stop by Quack Daddy Donuts. Pick up some donuts on your way there. The Ballard interview, to me, Kevin, we talked about it, the receiver position. The other one that you mentioned is the Quenton Nelson situation. Look, they're going to re-sign him, right?
How much?
It's just a matter of when.
$20 million a year? I would throw the franchise tag on him. I know that's a very anti-Chris Ballard move. Frankly, it's an anti-Colts move. They haven't done it since McAfee got it from Grigson, and boy, was McAfee not happy about that. 2013, 2014. Obviously, it delays you getting to that second contract, especially if Nelson has any injuries this year. I would throw. Now, granted, they could give him, or they might give him that contract extension here before the start of the season, so that would end that. Basically, Jake, you look at the most expensive guard in the NFL, makes, I think, it's $16 million right now. The most expensive offensive tackle, I believe, is like $23 million. You got to think Nelson's hovering around that in his agent's eyes.
Do you remember when we talked about this a couple weeks ago? Originally, they were known as Humvees and then Hummer. Do you remember when the Hummer vehicle was a huge deal?
Oh, yeah. Didn't LeBron get one?
I think that's probably right.
Yeah, for high school, I thought.
06, 07, something like that. They were a big deal. They're neat cars. They're neat vehicles. They were originally made, if I'm not mistaken, to drive through like the desert for like the military in the Middle East and that kind of thing. Having a Hummer is different if you live in, Saudi Arabia than the necessity to have one if you live in Miami. And Quenton Nelson, to me, is like having a Hummer and using it for rush hour traffic in Miami. It looks good. Everybody knows it's a nice car. It's big and it's strong and it's durable. And it's just sitting in traffic in weather where there's no desert to climb anywhere, no sand to go through. And I think he's a good player. I just think at the guard position, putting your money into the guard position is literally spending it on something excessive that you just don't need.
This is where, and Derek asks, is it too late for the franchise tag? Nelson is still under contract for this coming season. You would slap that tag on him next offseason. This is where Chris Ballard differs a lot, honestly, from Ryan Grigson and Bill Polian. Bill Polian and Ryan Grigson were very much on the same page in that you don't invest into the interior offensive line. Jake, you know this full well. The starting guard, center, and guard when the Colts won the Super Bowl.
When the Colts won the Super Bowl, you said which position?
The starting guards and center of that team.
Well, that would have been Jeff Saturday's your center, right?
Okay, undrafted, correct?
Correct. Your guards would have been, and I always forget which position here we're talking, Jake Scott?
I was going to guess
Ryan
Scott. Yeah, I was going to guess Ryan Lilja
Ryan
and Jake
Lilja.
Scott. So Lilja was like a middle round pick.
Rick DeMoling.
Right?
And then maybe Dylan Gandy helping out.
Let me look it up officially. Who?
Gandy was the left guard, yeah.
Starting the Super Bowl was Ryan Lilja and Jake Scott.
Okay.
So Ryan Lilja, I think he was a decent draft pick, like a
third rounder, maybe?
No, I was dead
Jake
wrong.
Scott, I think, was a third
maybe
rounder
Jake
out of
Scott
Idaho,
is
right?
what I'm thinking of. Undrafted for Lilja.
Okay.
And Jake Scott was
third rounder, I think, out of Idaho.
Yeah, I was going to say somewhere in those middle rounds there. Fifth round.
Okay.
So undrafted, and fifth round. And that's where Grigson comes from, of that line of thinking. When Grigson was a part of Super Bowl caliber teams with the Rams and Eagles in his younger scouting days, they had a similar approach of you've got to make sacrifices at certain positions on the football team. That's where you make sacrifices. Now, eventually, Grigson got to a point where he was like, God, I just got to hit on a pick. So he drafts Ryan Kelly super early. And so that's where the roster building philosophy of Ballard differs a lot from where Polian and Grigson aligned, which I know surprises some people. I think a lot of people label Ballard and Polian together in their line of thinking. Free agency, they might align a little bit more than Grigson. But in terms of offensive line building, Ballard is much different than Polian and Grigson.
I'm going to get kind of nerdy here in a second, okay? I know it's shocking. If you look at Bill Polian's blueprint, and I'm just throwing kind of spitballing numbers that are pretty safely close but not exact. But with Peyton Manning, Edgerrin James, Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, Dwight Freeney, Robert Mathis, probably Bob Sanders. Right there you have 7 players. Those 7 players, that makes up roughly the 1/8, so that makes up 12.5% of your roster. But yet, when you look at the salary cap, those guys probably made up, 40% of your salary cap? So you were spending 40% of your roster on 12.5% of your personnel. Now, the way that Bill Polian did that and made up for that was then he selected areas where he could mask having bargain bin players. Jason David at one corner. Like you said, a Ryan Lilja who's an undrafted free agent, lower cost guy at guard, mind you, right?
Yeah, and that defense corner didn't mean as much as it means in other defenses.
Correct. But they were creative in where they were able to mask it. If you take in your 12.5% and you put that into the guard position, if one of your 40% cap hit guys is at the guard position, that now you are taking a position that championship formula has shown to be actually a mask slot. And you're turning it into a funnel money to it slot. Now you are having to maneuver that mask situation into a different position. So where are you making up for it?
Right now it's left tackle. If you just want to stick on the offensive line a
Disaster.
little bit.
Disaster.
You're paying right? Matt Pryor 1 year, I don't know, like $5 million.
That is a position that you cannot. If you are building a house and you say, okay, I've got to figure out where I'm going to invest the money in my house. I'm sorry, but like your furnace and your insulation that's your left tackle. Those are 2 of the most important parts of that. Marc's looking at me very keenly. Right? But like, can you imagine like saying to your wife, you know what, this year actually I'm going to take money away from the investment we're going to put in our furnace and our insulation and put it into the bar in the basement. That's what you're doing, in my opinion. The guard having a really good guard it is awesome to have a bar in your basement.
Yeah, I think that's a very good analogy.
But man alive, if you've got a bar in your basement, you better make sure it's because you have taken care of the necessities in your house. And the Colts, I think, are playing with fire by. I think Quenton Nelson's a wonderful player, but he's a bar in the basement.
Matt, want to talk Parris Campbell. Matt is on Kevin and Query on this Tuesday morning. Good morning, Matt.
Hey, morning. Hey, tacking on with what you guys said, Ryan Lilja was an undrafted free agent, and so was Jeff Saturday. I mean, you're winning Super Bowls with undrafted guys versus first-round draft picks on guards, but totally different argument there. My worry about, I think the kid out of Cincinnati is going to be fine his rookie year.
Yeah, Alec Pierce.
Yeah, my concern is Parris Campbell. I know he's only played 15 games, and everybody says it's injuries and all that. That's all well and good. He only catches the ball twice a game when he's playing. And that's not – I mean, the numbers you threw up for Jerome Pathon dwarf anything that guy's done at this point. And his targets are low. I don't know that he gets open to the point where they throw him the ball at all anyway, even if he is healthy.
I think that.
Yeah, thank you, Matt.
That last part is the big question, right? Do we know if we've ever seen him fully healthy?
And the byproduct is, has he ever been fully healthy to build like a strong rapport with a quarterback? Mm-hmm. You know, when you think about, has he strung together 3 straight weeks of practice and built, a great relationship considering the quarterbacks have had such a turnover. I know he's thrown a lot with Matt Ryan. I would say at least a half a dozen times outside of the regular team activities. But I think that is what's really difficult with Campbell, Jake. And we've talked about this a little bit. I think Parris Campbell, when healthy, can be a pretty good football player. I do. But then if I were to look up Parris Campbell's stats in those 15 games he's played, and Matt kind of brought this up, I don't have a lot of basis to build off my argument. In 15 career games, Parris Campbell has 34 career catches. So as Matt said, just over 2 catches. He has 360 yards in those 15 games. That's 20-some yards a game, and he has 2 career touchdowns. The stat that I always felt like he has not tapped into enough is the yard after catch. That was the thing with Campbell, is he runs the fastest 40-yard dash time of anybody. You're going to throw him a screen. He's going to take it down the sideline. He's going to make big plays. I think back to, which a lot of college football players in the Big Ten can just put up highlights of when they played IU. But I was at the Ohio State IU game that started the season back in 2017 or 2018, and Campbell was incredible in that game, simply on some underneath stuff, and nobody could catch him.
Now, Kevin,
once he made a play with the ball in his hands.
I don't want to, be the expert here. But just so you know, because I know you cover a lot of NFL and you write a lot about it, it's not yards after catch, it's yak. You've got to start using yak more.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah, for the sake of like being an insider, it's yak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. I will note that in my notebook later today when I'm posting a story to 107.5
If you're talking baseball, if you can use warp more, that'll give you a little more credibility as well.
Warp.
Wins over replacement player.
I thought it was just war. Wins over replacement.
No, that's VORP also. Value over replacement player. Maybe, and then war is no the war you're thinking of, WAR, is that what you're thinking of?
Yeah.
Okay. That's actually wins for an average righty. So
and we wonder why baseball's struggling.
That's right.
So that's where I'm torn on Campbell. Like, his numbers would indicate that he's not definitely a number 2 wideout when he's been healthy. It's not like there's been these extreme flashes. I mean, sure, he had a strong season opener a few years ago against Jacksonville. He had the big touchdown against Houston last year, the play that he got hurt on. My biggest issue, Matt, is just more so you're banking on a guy that's played 15 games in 3 years. And that's where my worry
my thing would be this.
Would come into it.
Here's my thing. Okay? Chris Ballard, the very first thing he said when I said, what keeps you up at night? And he said, depth. I feel like we don't have enough depth. Like we're obsessed with depth. That's cool. That's a good answer. And totally understandable. But the position with which he gets the most defensive when questioned about it is the one where he not only they don't have depth, but where precedent says depth is perhaps the most critical, and that's wide receiver. Because who have we just talked about? Anthony Gonzalez, hurt. Parris Campbell, hurt. Reggie Wayne is a rookie, hurt. E.G. Green, who was supposed to be playing alongside Jerome Pathan, hurt. The precedent is there at the receiver position. Mike Strawn, hurt. If there is a position in football that seemingly needs the most depth in the room, it's wide receiver, because that has shown the precedent for injury and for people to get hurt. That's not a knock on guys. It's a brutal position to play. Austin Collie, hurt. So you are playing with fire if you're going into it saying, in other words, if you are saying we feel good about the receiver position and we'll address it eventually, but we feel good right now with Alec Pierce and Parris Campbell and Michael Pittman and Strawn and Desmond Patman, okay, that's all well and good. But if you're going to talk about how your obsession is creating depth, then in the same conversation, when asked about the receiver position, you can't kind of shrug it off when, in fact, that is the position more than any other probably that has shown within this franchise the necessity for depth more than any other.
One thing I liked about what Ballard said to us yesterday, Jake, about wideout, is he mentioned specifically the veteran that they have thought about adding has been playing a long time. Now, I don't know if that's specifically Hilton or if it's somebody else on the open market. I threw out Cole Beasley, Emmanuel Sanders are a couple names that have been out there for quite some time, or that have been playing for quite some time, I should say. That is specifically what I would be looking for. Again, to me, Reggie Wayne's presence does not cure all in the veteran question that I have with this group.
Fair.
Tony wanted to talk rule changes, Mark?
Yeah.
Like NFL rule changes?
I'll let him ask you guys how it.
Tony, good Tuesday morning to you.
Hey, good morning, guys. Good morning. Got just a couple comments, and I'm going to hang up and see what your thoughts are. With today's rules in the NFL, do you think that if a guy came up to be drafted, like Bob Sanders, do you think the Colts would draft that guy, or would Ballard look at him as a liability? And also, Ballard said something in the interview yesterday that you guys done that I didn't care for. And it's, do you worry about your job? He said, no, I don't worry about my job at all. That's not, you just don't worry about it. Well, I have my own business. I worry about my job every day, and I feel that a guy, if you're going to give 100% out there, or you just don't care.
So in other words,
worry about it.
Let me ask you this, if this is what you are saying, Tony, if I'm hearing you correctly. What you are saying is, because I, Tony, as a working man who has my own food to put on the table, because I find my own self-motivation and my own drive within myself because of fear of losing my job and wanting to carry forward every day so that is not a possibility, then if I'm going to give part of the money that I make from said job and invest it into somebody else's line of work, I would hope that they have that same fuel and that same drive.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think, Tony, that's and listen.
I'll hang up. Listen, guys.
No,
thanks, Tony.
Tony, I appreciate it. I think that Chris Ballard does feel the same way as you. I just think that it's the job of a general manager to not show that hand.
I don't think he wanted to admit it publicly. And I've said
there's no way he doesn't think about it. None.
And I've said this before. I think Jim Irsay having some public accountability with either of them, potentially both of them, would serve that franchise well. I don't think there's enough lighting of fires inside of that building that need to be there, because when this team has been at their best under Frank Reich, it's been when their backs are against the wall. And I think that would be welcomed over there. And I think people can react. I mean, my wife works in sales. When she's on a deadline or her team's got, X amount of, this is their quota and they've got to hit this by the end of the quarter, I think people typically handle that sort of pressure better than most.
What does she sell?
Software.
Okay.
And
does she know anything about that software I don't know how to do for my class?
Well, she could probably help you out there. But similar to Sam Fritz yesterday, I think she would want a little bit of money on that. To the Sanders point, no, I don't think he would have as much value. Putting his health to the side, Jake, I think nowadays in the NFL, given the rule changes, which I thought was a really good point Tony made, when you're drafting a safety now, I think you first look at the cover skills of said safety versus the run-stopping ability of that safety. Whereas Sanders, it was probably flipped. I mean, Sanders was a really good safety, period, but his strength was more as a run defender than it was as kind of a center fielder. If you look at Julian Blackmon, you look at Nick Cross. Cross is a big dude. He can play around the line of scrimmage, but their ability to kind of make some plays at the back end is probably the thing that you look at first. Julian Blackmon was a corner at one point at Utah. It's those type of traits that I think how the game is officiated today, and just how offenses are today, you look for that more than you would look for 20 years ago.
Now, do you understand the software she sells?
Yeah, basically it's like if you're going to get a job at Emmis or Radio 1 and you're learning your job, they sell the software to help you learn your job. So instead of maybe following a person around for that day and learning that way, you would take some software.
So she could sell me the software that I use to learn my software?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You want me to try and get you on that?
That all sounds very confusing to me.
I think you're eliminating kind of, let's say you have Marc Dighton's job in this company is to...
Well, apparently his job is to remove walls and play with wires, right?
Teach
I'm a
people.
man of many fields.
If Marc's sole job is to teach everyone how to do their job, it would probably help if Marc could concentrate on other things, and then you would just have a software.
Marc, you didn't replace the console that you removed
screwdriver
here.
right here. When I go to break, I'll be putting that bad boy back together.
Okay, well.
Adam says, I don't have a problem with Ballard's answer. We always hear people talking about playing without fear. I've got a lot of successful business people that say similar things. There's a difference between being aware and afraid.
Don't worry about your job. That creates doubt. Have confidence in your ability to do your job, and success will follow. That's Chris Ballard's mindset. Okay. Listen, if I'm making millions of dollars, and I know that I can tell you, executives at the highest level that have had sustained success, it's in the back of their mind, or at least in the mind of their family, to be driven by the fear of having that taken away. They can tell you it's not. And I get it. I mean, I'm not saying he's right. I get it. But it's absolutely there.
All right, we'll give out our Colts Camp Champ of the Day. It's brought to you by Quack Daddy Donuts. We'll do that here in a bit. And Bob Kravitz joins us at the top of the hour. For now, though, a morning checkdown.
The Morning Checkdown. Brought to you by QC Kinetics, relieving your joint pain at QCkinetics.com on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
You know what I was just thinking about with the Quack Daddy Donuts? And this is the kind of thing, they'll probably want to hire me in some sort of a marketing thing. They should come up with a slogan along the lines of like, you know what a duck has that you don't when you go to the Quack Daddy Donuts? Large bill. Great prices. Donuts, not overly expensive. You don't get a large bill, but the Quack Daddy, a duck has a large bill. Quack Daddy Donuts do not.
Boy, that sounded really smooth.
Do you like that one?
Nothing like the old marketing tagline that's 30 seconds long, and I'm more confused at the end of it than I was at the start.
The Quack Daddy has a large bill, but our donuts won't give you one. How's that?
Major League Baseball yesterday, the Reds 3-1 over the Marlins.
Okay.
Hunter Green pitched very well for the Redlegs. Tigers losing extras to the Twins. White Sox fall to the Royals 2-1. Guardians 6-5 over Arizona. It was an active trade deadline yesterday around Major League Baseball. The Cubs do any selling? Scott Efros?
Yeah, from
actually covered him at IU.
Yeah, IU guy went to the Yankees. The trade deadline is today, I believe, at 3.
Yeah, Juan Soto's the big name floating out there, right?
Yeah, that's a lot. The Cubs should be pretty active, I think, too. Wilson Contreras, Ian Happ, David Robertson among guys that are on the block with them. So I expect the Cubs to be pretty active. The Juan Soto domino is the one that a lot of people are waiting on.
So I got a standing O last night in his potentially final at-bat.
Padres,
Washington.
Dodgers among the teams apparently in the run for him, so it'll be pretty interesting to see who takes that on. Are you ready now?
Do we have the swoosh back?
We have the swoosh back.
Look at
there
that.
it is. Wow.
Was that one of the wires I had to hit
Beautiful.
back
We
No, don't
unplugged the
kick
mouse
anything.
and we plugged it back in. Jake Colts camp. It's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday on the practice field this week at Grand Park. A noon session today. How does it look out there, Marc? Does it look? I saw there was potentially some rain in the forecast.
Some
It looks
blue
pretty
skies,
nice.
a little cloudy, but nothing. No weather looks like. No clouds of concern.
Colts are trying to simulate a game week with how their practice schedule is at Grand Park. Full pads on for today. First time.
Ducks like stale bread, but the donuts at Quack Daddy as fresh as you can find.
In my opinion, that sucks.
They're not going to hire you to do their promos, I don't think.
Huh?
They're not going to hire you to write their promos. You need to workshop those.
What are you talking about?
Those were not good.
They're not bad.
They're not great.
Vegas says the odds of Deshaun Watson's 6-game suspension will increase. That means the NFL would appeal and Roger Goodell would decide to increase the 6-gamer. Do you think that will happen?
NFL has an opportunity here for a league that has taken a lot of heat about being all talk and no action, and for a league that saw a 4-game suspension for one of its biggest stars for taking the air out of footballs. They now have an opportunity, in particular to a fan base that is critical to their overall transcendence in females, to make a statement by saying, we are putting a harder and more firm line in the sand.
I think Sue Robinson, the independent...
I realize it was a female, and I get that.
arbitrator yesterday, Jake, I think she sent a clear message to the rest of the NFL, especially with first-time offenders, which is what was a frequent label to Deshaun Watson yesterday, that if you have a player on your team or you want to pursue a player that is dealing with some sort of sexual assault, the punishment's not going to be too severe. And that's a pretty slippery slope. And I think the Colts were a team like the Browns that they knew that. The Browns knew the punishment wouldn't be too severe, and the Colts knew it.
Do you think the Texans regret letting go of him?
Well, didn't Deshaun Watson not want to play for the Texans anymore?
I mean,
wasn't that issue like happening before this stuff came
I
to the
guess,
surface?
but he was under contract. I mean,
Again, Cleveland, with a general manager that has a lot of Colts ties, was willing to take the risk, and I think, I don't know, maybe I'll ask Bob Kravitz that if ownership would have signed off on it, but I think the powers that be within the Colts organization, non-Irsay division, would have gone after Deshaun Watson, believing that past precedent was on their side and that this would go away. And I think that's what's happening here with Cleveland. Precedent.
By the way, Mark, how would you describe the foot of a duck?
How would I describe it?
Yeah. Ducks have blank feet. What?
Web feet?
Yeah. Speaking of the web, you can find Quack Daddy Donuts at quackdaddydonuts.com.
We'll give away
In my opinion, that sucks.
Camp Champ of the Day. We'll do that next here. Bob Kravitz at the top of the hour.
Sometimes an injury or death happens due to someone else's mistake. Find justice with the injury attorneys at Parr Ritchie at 317-269-2509. PARRinjury.com.
Cards issued by Celtic Bank, member FDIC.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's credit cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp's software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 3.3% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp for free. Just go to ramp.com/sports. Ramp.com/sports. RAMP.com/sports.
Hey, it's Jake Query here. Do you need Colts game tickets? If you do, by the way, for any Colts game, buy them today at bullseyeeventgroup.com. Or if you need tickets to the Colts VIP tailgate before the game, the best tailgate that you're going to find, fabulous food, live entertainment, J&B on site, bullseyeeventgroup.com. Or if you need tickets to the Colts game and tickets to the Colts VIP tailgate, buy your game tickets today and add the VIP tailgate to make it a Colts tailgate and ticket combo. Buy today at bullseyeeventgroup.com. Again, Bullseye Event Group, you're talking about the best in entertainment, the best in getting you set up, and making sure that you enjoy everything about the Colts game or whatever form of entertainment it is. I've known them a long time. You're talking about the best quality and commitment to making sure that you are getting the most out of your entertainment, whether it be a Colts game, whatever, concert, VIP tailgate. Find out more at bullseyeeventgroup.com.
Everything is more expensive these days, gas, groceries, you name it. One thing you can't put a price on is peace of mind, which is why I'm a AAA member. Flat tire, dead battery, run out of gas, like your keys in a car. AAA is there 24/7, 365. As a AAA member, I get discounts on all sorts of stuff. Hotels, rental cars, restaurants. My AAA membership will even get me into the state fair for free on AAA Day, my birthday, August 17th. My AAA membership saves me so much money each year, practically pays for itself. If peace of mind on the road combined with more dollars in your pocket sounds like something you'd be interested in, do yourself a favor, join AAA today. To get your AAA membership, visit AAA.com, call 844-GO-AAA-GO, or stop by your local AAA office and tell them I sent you. Don't forget to save the date for the AAA Day at the Indiana State Fair. That's Wednesday, August 17th. AAA members get in free. Details always at AAA.com.
Hubler really does
does have it all. All of our pre-owned vehicles are Hubler Q certified, which include a 128-point vehicle inspection, a free Carfax vehicle history report, and 2 warranties. A 2-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, and a 30-day, 1,000-mile comprehensive warranty. Visit any of our 13 locations today, or click drivehubler.com. Hubler has it all.
We are at Colts camp.
Let guys get reacclimated to doing football-specific activities.
We're going to get a real feel for how dialed in they are.
If you're talking about it,
Shaq, Darius, Shaquille.
Year number 1 of Matt Ryan.
You let him go side to side. He's the best linebacker.
We're talking about it.
There's very little downtime in between snaps with Matt Ryan.
You got to look at everything. Your home for Indy sports. 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan. You're listening to Kevin and Query on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
It's time to give out our Camp Champ of the Day. It's brought to you by Quack Daddy Donuts in Westfield, where the best maple bacon donuts reside. That's just 3 miles south of Colts Camp. QuackDaddyDonuts.com. Jake, it was an off day yesterday for the Colts. Full pads coming on today. But I think a guy that so far I would label a camp champ. And there's still a lot to secure that starting job. But Matt Pryor has been taking every single rep at left tackle with the starting unit. The same could be said for Danny Pinter at right guard. But I will go with Matt Pryor for today's camp champ. At this time last year, Sam Tevy was getting routinely roasted at left tackle. And that continued when the full pads came on. So I don't know if I'm basing that bar off quite low expectations from last year. But so far, so good for Matt Pryor. He's a guy that slimmed down in an effort to try and play tackle. I thought this was interesting. He's primarily played on the right side of the line of scrimmage in his football career. He's flipping over to left tackle. The training he did this offseason to get used to that, boxing. To get his hips used.
He and Greg Doyle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we could have maybe him and Greg Doyle as a halftime show this year. Maybe some others would like to get in the ring with Greg Doyle as well. Matt Pryor getting used to kind of opening up his hips. You know, think about it. That right side, he opens it up so the left hip comes back a little bit. If you can kind of picture how a left tackle drills their pass sets. But Matt Pryor is very young in left tackle experience. He's been in the league for 5 years. Not a lot of left tackle experience, but so far he is the leader at that very important spot for the blind side of Matt Ryan. So we'll see if that continues. Yannick Ngakoue and him, I haven't noticed a whole lot of Ngakoue just dominating him on a play-in, play-out basis. Again, the full pads might change that, but he is our camp champer here on a Tuesday.
By the way, Pryor and Doolin are the two guys that they seem to be going out of their way to kind of praise and build up.
I think that's an accurate assessment by you. And Jake, just to continue on that point for just a second, those are two positions they didn't do a whole lot to free agent-wise this offseason. So you got to think internally, they're thinking to themselves, if we're not going to spend at those spots in free agency, that means we're banking on people in-house to take steps forward. And obviously Pryor with the re-sign and Doolin as well would be in that category.
I'd just like you to know that I've already gotten the folks over at Quack Daddy Donuts have already reached out to me from the marketing department. Hey, Jake, we can work on some of the taglines. Although ducks like stale bread, but Quack Daddy always has fresh donuts was pretty good. See? Would you like to take back your little sounder there, Mark?
No.
What about the fact
they're being nice?
I love how they didn't bring up the Bill one. They went with that one. The Bill one was one of the
Ducks
more
have a big
confusing
bill,
ones.
but you won't at Quack Daddy Donuts.
And they
Very
said
affordable.
We need to work on those, is what they said. That was how they started it. We need to work on them. They're probably like, well, okay, we'll let him have his fun. But
was pretty good. It says right there, was pretty good. Thank you.
If you think my eyes can read that text from the distance that you're showing
I'm just
me.
telling you. I thought think about
no, don't improv.
The foot is web. Speaking of the web, quackdaddydonuts.com. I'm telling you, it flows freely.
Transitioning here.
In my opinion, that sucks.
I'm going to wear that button
Thank
out today.
you, Coach Mora. Mike has this, and I think this is an interesting note, Jake, but it does involve a little bit of math.
Ooh, strong suit of mine.
He goes, Matt Ryan has thrown for 4,000 yards in 11 straight years.
Okay.
Looking at this receiver core, how would you break it down in getting to that number? He feels like Pittman would have to have at least 1,500 receiving yards.
I was just going to say 1,500 for Pittman, right? Here's the thing, though.
Do you want to break down the math, or you want me to give it?
Let's say Pittman goes for 1,450, right? What did Pittman go for last year?
Just a hair under 1,100, I believe.
Yeah, okay, so we'll go bit. Okay, Pittman gets 1,300. Okay, 1,300 for Pittman. Parris Campbell ups his game a little bit and gives you 450. We're up to 1,750.
So Campbell, sorry, give that to me one more time. I want to
450 for Campbell.
Double check your math here. Okay.
I'm going to go Doolin. Doolin is a surprise player. He becomes the Zach Pascal. What did Zach Pascal have a year ago?
400 and change.
Okay, so I'm going to say 375 for Doolin. Okay? So now we're at 1,750. We're at 2125, I think, or 2025.
Oh boy. Mark, do you have the calculator?
We're halfway there. Nyheim Hines. I'm going to go 750 for Nyheim Hines. Now we're at 2775. We're starting to run out of room here. Mo Alley Cox, 305. We're at 3080. Assorted other tight ends, 225. 3305.
I don't think I've seen him on the depth chart. Assorted tight ends.
What's that?
Assorted tight ends. I haven't seen his name listed on the depth chart.
Assorted tight ends is what number?
00. No, I'll say assorted tight ends adds up to, I can't remember what I said, 275.
Does that include Mo Alley?
No, Mo Alley I had it 3-something. I've got it right now at 3305 with all of those factored in. So it's getting tough.
I think you can do it.
Alec Pierce for another 250?
Hines at 750 is healthy. There's no Mark, will you look up? There's no way any running back in the NFL had 750 receiving
But I think they're going to use him a lot as a receiver, right?
I just think that's a huge jump. I think if you combine Hines and Taylor, you can get close.
That might be right.
You can get close to 1,000
600
yards.
or so. Okay. I mean,
if you combine them. 600 for Hines, 400 for Taylor, something like that.
The reality is this. You are going to need, between Doolin, Campbell, and Pierce, you need 1,750 yards total between the three, right?
Austin Eckler of the Chargers had the most last season reception yards for 647.
Okay.
The next
so
closest
then, that's aggressive.
was Cordell Patterson of 548.
So let's
ironically enough, Patterson with Matt Ryan.
450 to 5, right? But I think you need 1,750 yards total between Pierce, Campbell, and Doolin.
I think you bump up your Mo Alley Cox. What do you have him, Matt?
I didn't write down what I said, but like 375, 400, somewhere in there.
Yeah, I think you bump him up a little bit. Assorted tight ends, I probably agree with. Yeah, I mean, you're going to need Pittman right around 1,300 yards. And then, of course, the other debate is, do you need Matt Ryan at 4,000 yards? I mean, yes, Matt Ryan has had 11 straight seasons or whatever Mike said, but he's never had a guy like Jonathan Taylor. So if Jonathan Taylor's running for 1,800 yards again, to me, you don't need, like, I keep on going back to the stats that I think, well, I know this. I know the Colts hold in high regard from a passing game standpoint, and I would agree with. They care more about completion percentage and yards per attempt. So completion percentage obviously defines just how efficient you can be in continuing to move the football in a consistent manner. Yards per attempt, that's probably more of the efficiency metric. And that's where I think Carson Wentz really held this offense back. Jake, so many people point to Carson Wentz threw for 50 yards against the Patriots. Well, yeah, that's a really low number, but look more at how many attempts he had. And if he has 12 attempts in the game, but he's averaging 9 yards per those 12 attempts, that is a big number, which means you're taking advantage of your run game. So I get it from a fantasy football standpoint and just an easy for fan to consume standpoint. The passing yardage stat is what everybody looks towards, but I think it's a little bit more detailed than that. So I think if Pittman gets around 1,400 yards, 1,300 to 1,400 yards, which is a big number, then I think 4,000 is doable. But I don't think 4,000 is necessarily needed.
I would agree with that. I mean, when he had, has Ryan ever had a dynamic back like a Taylor in his backfield? He's had good running backs, but you know what I mean?
Go back to Michael Turner.
Yeah, I mean.
Devontae Freeman.
Tevin Coleman. How about this?
Weren't they kind of by committee in that Super Bowl run?
Totally, yeah. How about this? Bread's not good for ducks, but donuts are always good for you. QuackDaddyDonuts.com.
Do you know
Wrap it up. Wrap that up, B.
What was that?
Wrap it up. Put a bow on that one.
I'm still shooting threes here. I'm like John Starks.
Bricking a lot of them. Lots
do you
of
know
air
where
balls.
Tevin Coleman's playing these days?
Tevin Coleman is still in the league, correct?
He is.
We're going to do my favorite game here, Kevin. You're going to give me 3 guesses. The first is I need my hint questions. If I got transferred to this city, would I be, in terms of lifestyle and size of market, would you be impressed?
Yes.
And would I need a winter coat?
Yep.
I would need the winter coat?
Mm-hmm. Talked about this earlier.
Is he a bear?
No.
We talked about the city?
But same level as of...
Oh, wait a minute. He's a...
Same level of loser.
Is he a jet?
Jets, baby. Do they still do the fireman guy?
He got mad. He got mad and left for a while, remember? He got upset because they didn't listen to his
Jumbotron
draft suggestion or something like that. And so he left for a while, and now he's back, I believe. Fireman Ed or Ted?
Yeah,
Do we know the name?
Ed.
Is that right, though, Mark? Isn't that right?
Yeah. I'm so mad you guys are going to get another busted draft.
Yeah, he was a bald guy that was wearing a large plastic Fisher-Price airplane on his head that was upset that people weren't taking him seriously.
He was more mad about that than he was about the Jets just absolutely sucking for 2 decades now.
Remember when the Jets and Colts had kind of a rivalry brewing?
Yeah. And I don't think it's a rivalry by any means yet, but the team that the Colts always play right now, the Raiders.
Yeah. There's some history, but
and I guess, do you add Josh McDaniels? Does that add anything to it?
I think the Colts and Raiders rivalry was cemented by the fact that Jerry Rogers, Ratfink quarterback in the Brady Bunch, when Greg calls to let him know that he's got a phony playbook, he has on his wall behind him the Raiders and Colts posters in his bedroom.
Now, those have been Baltimore.
It was Baltimore and Oakland. I have no idea how or why I still remember that, but I just thought I'd throw that in.
Johnny U and Lenny Moore behind him.
That's right.
Raymond Barry. All right, Bob Kravitz, he's going to join us at the top of the hour. Again, we'll get his insight a little bit more into the Pacers and Myles Turner and that relationship. Likely not to continue, according to Bob. So we'll chat about that with him at the top of the hour. Kevin and Query on what looks like a pretty nice Tuesday here in Indy.
Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
An effective defense often hinges on sophisticated strategies relating to income tax projections, business valuations, spousal support claims. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
Contact the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Indianapolis area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 317-322-0122 or visit online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Office in downtown Indianapolis. Cordell & Cordell, 101 West Ohio Street, Suite 1100, Indianapolis, Indiana 46204.
Hey, Indiana, start the second half of the baseball season the right way by turning K's into cash and big hits into big wins with FanDuel Sportsbook. Hey, it's Mark from Kevin and Query. Right now, new customers get $150 in free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. All you have to do is sign up with promo code MARK to get in on the action. FanDuel lets you bet the money line, home run props, strikeout totals, and so much more. Plus, you can combine your bets for an even bigger payday with the same game parlay. If you haven't tried FanDuel, now's the perfect time to give it a shot. Just join with promo code MARK and turn a $5 bet into $150 in free bets win or lose. So it's Dinger Tuesday today. This could be a bit tricky with the MLB trade deadline. There could be some players moving to other teams that might get pulled out of the lineups and all that stuff. So be careful today. Give me Hunter Dozier, the White Sox taking on the Royals. Give me Hunter Dozier to go deep against the White Sox. A $25 bet there will pay out over $115. But again, choose any player in any game and bet $25, and you get $5 for every home run hit in that game. So what are you waiting for? Join with promo code Marc. Turn $5 into $150 in free bets. Win or lose. MARC exclusively on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Must be 21 and over in Indiana. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is now withdrawable free bets that expire 14 days after receipt. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Mom, Dad, you should shop Amazon for back to school and save some money. See, I'm currently obsessed with superheroes and need all the superhero stuff. Superhero lunchbox, superhero backpack. But next year, it'll be something else. Maybe dinosaurs? I don't know. I'm not a fortune teller. But I can tell you not to spend a fortune and shop low prices for school on Amazon. Okay, good chat. Amazon. Spend less, smile more.
Helzberg Diamonds presents The Guy Who Found the Perfect Ring. Jake needed an engagement ring, so he did his research, asked his fiance's best friends for advice.
She wants emerald cut. Definitely.
And he went to Helzberg Diamonds. Jake knew that Helzberg's been in business for over 100 years. That means quality. And with their price match guarantee, he'd get a great deal. And she'd get the ring she's always wanted.
Way to go, Jake.
So be like Jake. Find the ring of her dreams at a Helzberg Diamonds near you or at Helzberg.com.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. The year started off with super high rates, but for the last 6 weeks, mortgage interest rates have dropped. A lot of banks and lenders are still charging those high rates, but at thehomeloanexpert.com, our rates are over a quarter point lower than the national average. With lower rates and a 10-day closing guarantee, we can have you in the home of your dreams by the end of the month. Ready to get pre-approved? Visit thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
What's happening with the Fan? Join JMV and 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan this Thursday at Twin Peaks for JMV's live broadcast. We'll be passing out swag and talking all things football as we head into training camp. And who doesn't like ice-cold beer and great food? So come on out and see us, talk about the Colts, raise a mug, and join in all the fun from 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
For more info, click on 1075thefan.com. The Colts open the preseason in Buffalo as they take on the Bills. Coverage next Saturday at 1 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
You're listening to Kevin and Query on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
We did not even prepare or plan that song, but perfect segue. According to 1,000 NFL fans, when it comes to the merchandising of uniforms and logos, Kevin, a survey was done by the league, apparently, with all the color rush and all that. The least popular colors for an NFL team for their uniforms, for their alternate uniforms this year, are who? The 5 worst, according to fans.
No, the Bears for sure. That's got to be number 1.
So does this include all 32 or only the teams that have done the alternate?
I'll read you right here. You ready?
Yeah.
The NFL has lifted its one helmet rule, and 13 teams have announced new or alternate uniforms for the upcoming season. A new survey of over 1,000 NFL fans determined which NFL team uniforms reign supreme and which fall flat. It then lists the 5 best uniforms, the 5 worst uniforms, and then the 5 best color rush colors.
So we're looking for the worst?
We'll go with worst, yep.
Go with the Bears, the Jags.
Okay, the Jags are 1.
Bears aren't on there?
The Bears are not.
That alternate helmet, man, I've heard a lot of hate for that.
Yeah.
I think this is just the overall color schemes of the team.
Oh, so this is just general color scheme.
It just says the worst uniforms according to the survey.
Vikings?
Nope.
Panthers?
Panthers were listed as number 1 most favorite.
Really?
You believe that? I think that's based on the alternate helmets.
Browns
were worst. Seattle, the Rams, the Jags, Washington, and Cleveland, the worst. I don't know which Seahawks they're going with there. To me, the Seahawks logo is awesome, I think. The most popular, according to the NFL survey of 1,000 fans using color schemes for uniform, Panthers, Bengals, Steelers, Cowboys, 49ers. In terms of overall colors with the Color Rush uniforms, Miami, Carolina again, Dallas, Pittsburgh, and the Chargers.
I love the Chargers powder blue.
Yeah, I mean, those are pretty hard to argue, right?
Speaking of kind of uniform-centric stuff, I think one of the top 3 coolest moments in the history of Lucas Oil Stadium, Jake, Colts related. The Reggie Wayne orange glove game.
Oh, yeah. Against the Green Bay Packers, right?
And I bring that up, and that being in 2012, Chuck Pagano, the first game he missed due to being diagnosed with leukemia. Thursday night is the 10th annual ChuckStrong. You go Gala or Gala?
Gala.
ChuckStrong Gala. I think it's pretty amazing. Jim Irsay's dedication to continuing this over the years. I know that he always had a special bond with Chuck. It has raised over $10 million for cancer research at the IU Simon Cancer Center. Bruce Arians will be in attendance on Thursday night. Clyde Christensen as well. 2 guys obviously pivotal on that 2012 staff. Bruce Arians, a cancer survivor himself. Robert Mathis, Jack Doyle, Adam Vinatieri, among the others that will be at the Colts complex for the annual.
I can't recall
ChuckStrong game
when Reggie Wayne wore the orange gloves because that was the color for the form of cancer that Chuck Pagano had. I can't remember. What form of cancer did he have? Leukemia, right?
Yeah, acute. Some with a P. That was a tough word.
He had gotten the gloves. Was it from somebody in Cleveland or Miami?
Yeah, I think Miami. I could have been Cleveland. That's a good question. I kind of forgot about that.
And the NFL let him wear them for that game, and then after that, he couldn't wear them again, right?
Yeah, over 200 yards receiving against Charles Woodson that afternoon. And that was a Packers team that I think the year before they'd gone like 15-1. Huge comeback in that game. Reggie was incredible. I always think this about that 2012 season, Jake, and Chuck, leaving the team after 3 weeks. The Colts had the earliest bye week in the NFL that year. A week 4 bye. I think they're one of 2 teams that had the week 4 bye, and then you get into 3 teams have it the next week, 3 teams the next week, etc. If the Colts had the bye week that they have this year, mid-December, you hate to be doom and gloom about it, but can you imagine how long it would have gone before Chuck Pagano told the team doctors that he wasn't feeling well?
Yeah.
And as a first-year head coach, you're thinking to yourself, I've got to give everything to my football team. We're 1-2 at this moment. I can't even go down any sign of weakness, anything. This is just general stress of the job. I'm tired because this is the first time I've ever done this and all of that. And yet that bye week and him walking off the practice field, I think it was the Wednesday or Thursday prior, that's when he said to the team doctors, I'm not feeling great. You mind kind of taking a look at some things with the upcoming bye week? And lo and behold, they discover it then. And, obviously the moment of him post-game locker room, the Miami game where he gets really emotional, first time he saw the team, that is certainly a really iconic moment. But really cool to see Jim Irsay's continued support of Chuck, and the recently retired Bruce Arians will be in town on Thursday.
Arians is a cool dude, man.
Great
dude.
Great dude. He's Jake Corey. I'm Kevin Bowen. Marc Dykton across the way. Bob Kravitz, he is going to join us next here on Kevin and Corey, 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
I know Chris Ballard talked about in the offseason hoping that Parris Campbell is going to be healthy, but it's far from something you're going to be able to count on because of the past injury history. But to me, it's absolutely essential that he is healthy. It's essential for this offense that will be the best it can be if Parris Campbell's a part of it.
The Ride with JMV.
Weekdays 3 to 6
on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
There's never been a better time to look at a cash-out refinance. Apply online today at thehomeloanexpert.com. NMLS number 1326241.
The Mower Shop in Fishers introduces Spartan Mowers with SRT, RT, RZ, and KG series for any yard, anytime. Find Spartan at themowershop.com, 317-849-9500.
This is a call to the self-starters, to the self-made, and the self-sufficient. It's time to declare a new kind of independence. Because Edelman Financial Engines is here to provide tailored investment solutions for your kind of wealthy. You should expect more from your wealth advisors. Our investment management approach is based on Nobel Prize-winning research, and our planners don't sell products to earn commissions. And because we're here for those who question the answers, we model more than 38,000 securities, so we can better stress test your portfolio through thousands of scenarios. So no matter where you're going next, see what we can build for you. Call 888-899-4450. That's 888-899-4450. Or visit efewealthplanners.com to get your complimentary financial plan. Edelman Financial Engines. Built for those who built themselves.
Hey, it's JMV. Sometimes accidents happen. Truck wrecks, car wrecks, motorcycle wrecks that just shouldn't have happened. It can mean dealing with a lot of pain, broken bones, surgeries, PT, extended medical care, even death. All of which can also add up to catastrophic harm. That's where personal injury attorney John McLaughlin at Parr Ritchie can help. John is recognized in Indiana Super Lawyer magazine as an injury attorney. It's worth a free call to see if John can help you. 317-269-2509 or visit parrinjury.com. That's PARR injury.com.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Get to Twin Peaks July 31st through August 4th for their Summer Bikini Bash. It's the hottest way to cool off, featuring a bikini costume party and sweet deals on some of their favorite shots, cocktails, drafts, and more. Twin Peaks eats, drinks, scenic views.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
WIBC HD2, W298BB, WIBC HD3, W228CX, Indianapolis.
Join me today. We're going to talk some position battles with Chappie. We're also going to get a perspective on where exactly the Colts fit this year in the AFC South. I think they win it and win it going away.
You're listening to Kevin and Query on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Nice little game of rock, paper, scissors bringing us back. Kevin Bowen, Jake Query, and Mark Dykton, fresh off a house move, which just sounds miserable. But glad that's out of the way for you, Mark.
Oh, there's still plenty of unpacking to do now.
Bob Kravitz from The Athletic is joining us right now on the Payless Liquors hotline. Bob, we were talking about it before the break. And obviously there's a ton to get to with you, but I will start here. Thursday is the 10th annual ChuckStrong Gala, and certainly a ton of money, over $10 million raised for the IU Simon Cancer Center. I'm thinking back to that 2012 season and refresh my memory a little bit. Did you have that story or had heard something along the lines that Chuck had cancer but withheld it? I'm trying to think of how that story broke.
Yeah, it was a weird story. We were going out to get a car for my wife, and we're filling out the 9,000 sheets of paper, and the guy says to me, "Oh, you're gonna have a big story next week with the Colts." And I said, "Oh, really? Do tell." And he says, I can't really say anything, blah, blah, blah. I said, "You want me to buy the car?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, tell me what the big story is." And he told me that I guess his wife worked in the hospital at the Simon Cancer Center and knew about Chuck's situation. So I tell journalism students all the time, when you hear rumors, no matter how outlandish they may be, you check. And I hope that I was, he got some bad information, but I reached out to some people in the Colts organization and said, "Look, I hope this is wrong. I hope this is one of those BS rumors, but it's just weird enough it might be true." And by God, it was. And that's the kind of scoop that you don't feel terribly good about.
Yeah, I remember. I guess it would have been a couple years ago now, and not on the same level as that one. But I think it was Jonathan, the guy that cuts Jonathan Taylor's hair, or maybe it was Jonathan Taylor's girlfriend's hair. DMs me and is like, "Oh yeah, Taylor's girlfriend's got COVID. He's going to miss the game this weekend." And again,
Wow.
you get so you get stuff that's like similar to that on a decently frequent basis, and a good majority of the time it's not true at all. But then some of the time,
Right.
and very sadly in your case. Unfortunately, that was true.
It's like the thing with Luck going to snowboarding.
Right.
We heard that, but I was like, come on, he's not that stupid. Well, apparently he was, because it was true, and Ian Rappaport was able to get the story about a year later, and I felt that we, the Indianapolis media, really, really blew it by not asking Andrew Luck about that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, Bob, perhaps now is the make good for everybody, because the next time that we talk to Myles Turner, who was in Africa during, all of the trade rumors and whatever else. So we don't know yet, unless you have talked to him, what his mindset is. But you have written most recently in The Athletic that the time has come that Myles Turner's career in Indiana is going to be at an end. That is Bob's speculation, or that is one of those that was a rumor that you started chasing down and found out there was fire with smoke?
Yeah, I have been told that he is not interested in signing a contract extension to remain in Indianapolis. If there's a press conference tomorrow saying that he has signed a long-term deal, I will mea culpa till I'm blue in the face. But that is what I've been told, that one of the reasons they are trying so hard to trade him is that they don't want to lose him for nothing, because I am told, not by Myles, but I am told that he has no interest in signing a contract extension to stay here. And frankly, why would he? I mean, he's been on the trading block for 4 years? And it's a complete rebuild. Why would he want to be part of this? So that's kind of where we're at now. Somebody told me that he said something, but I have not been able to find any place where he has said that that's not a true story. Maybe you can enlighten me, but I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it was kind of a cryptic tweet. He certainly didn't come out and totally deny it by any means, but welcome to media in 2022, as you know.
Right.
On that front, Bob, and again, Bob Kravitz from The Athletic is with us. If that's the case, why would the Pacers even play him this season? I mean, are you really going to waste 40 games of playing Turner and running the risk of him getting hurt, losing trade value, and then stunting the growth of guys behind him that you would like to see in that role? It almost seems like the Pacers have got to move him by the start of the season.
Yeah, I believe that they are willing to go into the season with him and Buddy, but I think all things being equal, they would much prefer to move him. And for the reasons that you just cited, he's not part of the future. You want to give a run to, Goga, for crying out loud. I mean, this is his last year in his contract. Let's find out if he can play. Isaiah Jackson looks like a real promising young player, playing the 4, possibly the 5. So, I think in a perfect world they would be able to move him before the season begins, but I don't know that that's a sure thing.
Shifting gears to the Colts, Bob, you and I are on the same page, and I know you wrote this up on The Athletic about the need to add a veteran wideout. Would adding T.Y. Hilton satisfy, you think, what they need at wide receiver?
No, they need somebody who can catch more than 20 balls. Look, they gave him $8 million to catch how many? I don't even know how many passes he caught last year, but it wasn't a whole hell of a lot.
How much was that quarterback related?
But it was the same thing the previous year with Phillip Rivers. He didn't put up numbers with Phillip Rivers, if I'm not mistaken. So I think T.Y. He's a great player, but past tense. I don't know that he's got it anymore. Now, if they can't do any better than him, yeah, he's better than. If somebody gets hurt, God forbid, then I can see bringing T.Y. in. But at this point, I'm not sure what purpose it serves, assuming that everybody's healthy. If you really think that these guys, Pierce and Campbell and everybody else, are going to be really good players for you, you might as well play them and find out.
Bob, do you think that Chris Ballard has neglected is too severe a word, has yet to address deeply the wide receiver position because he truly doesn't think that there are players out there that can help them right now, A, or B, because he truly believes in the rising depth that's going to shock the world of the players that he has within his room right now?
I think it's C. He has a ton of faith in Frank Reich's play calling and in Matt Ryan's ability to involve all these guys. I think that's the biggest thing, and I think that's a mistake because when you place all your eggs in that basket, the play calling basket, I think that's a dubious venture. So, look, I think he has faith in these guys. You guys have been out there. You've seen Parris Campbell looks terrific. But, they're throwing against air. They're doing 7-on-7s. Let's see what happens when the pads go on today. But I think he's got faith in those guys. But for the most part, I think he's got faith in Frank Reich, and I think he's got faith in Matt Ryan.
He's Bob Kravitz. He's with The Athletic, and he is with us right now on the Payless Liquors hotline. Bob, obviously the story right now in the NFL is Deshaun Watson and the 6-game suspension handed out yesterday, and we'll see how the appeal process will work from here. I find this story fascinating on many levels, and I think there's a connection to the Colts in that Andrew Berry, the general manager of the Browns, used to be here under the Polian regime and the Grigson regime, and is someone the Irsay family has always held in really, really high regard. Having said that, and I know this is a hypothetical, but do you think the Irsay family would have signed off on a trade for Deshaun Watson?
That's a great question. We when we were talking with Chris Ballard, after the draft, as we always do, I got the sense that they had interest. So, to what degree, I don't know. I have a hard time seeing Jim Irsay, given the way the stands that he's taken over the years. I have a hard time seeing it, and at the same time, man, that's the quarterback. That's the franchise quarterback you've been looking for a couple of years. So, look, it's a really tough call. I think Chris Ballard would have done it. I have questions over whether Jim Irsay would have signed off on it. But clearly 6 games is a joke. 6 games is an absolute joke. And I'll tell you who comes out looking good in this whole thing is the Cleveland Browns because of the way they structured the contract. And they're going to get a franchise quarterback and only going to lose him for 6 games as things currently stand.
But, Bob, isn't the opportunity there right now, sitting on a platter, for the NFL, who allowed for an independent counsel, if you will, to come up with this, and they have the right to appeal it, the NFL does. Right. Is this not the perfect opportunity for the NFL to say, see, all the women of the United States, I know that we do the stuff on the field and we wear cleats of neat colors and everything else, but now we're putting our money where our mouth is. We're going to suspend this guy. We're going to appeal this, and this is ridiculous, and we're not going to stand for it, and we believe in a harder penalty. Isn't this the perfect opportunity for the NFL to finally cease any cynicism about their pledge towards women in this country?
Oh, I think that ship has sailed. With Ray Rice and the way they've handled previous cases similar to this, it would be a good PR opportunity. The problem is that the NFL and the NFLPA collectively bargained that this Sue Robinson would do this. And I think they're up against it. She in her report said it was a nonviolent issue. I take great umbrage at that idea when somebody sort of tries to force themselves on you. I believe that is a violent act against the person. So I'm not sure where she's coming from. I read the report or the parts of the report that were out, and I could have sworn that she was saying, yeah, I'm going to throw the book at this guy. And then at the end, it's like, oh, by the way, 6 games. So I have a feeling that the NFL may just say, look, there's not much we can do. We had an independent arbitrator look at this. And, yeah, the right thing would be to throw the season at them. But I don't know if they're going to do that because it's the right thing, and the NFL has a hard time doing the right thing.
Bob Kravitz is with us here on the Payless Liquors hotline. And, Bob, I know you have a lot of history over at IMS. You see the attendance number of, I think, 60,000 on Sunday for the NASCAR race around the road course. You think that's a number that IMS is content with, happy with? Do you think that'll ever grow?
No. I look, first of all, I tend to think the oval, I don't know what the general population thinks, but I'd rather watch an oval race than to watch that road race. I don't know your thoughts on that, but they're going to have a hard time moving forward. I don't know what the contract is with NASCAR. I like to see NASCAR stay involved, but I personally prefer the ovals. Now, will that get the numbers bigger? Probably not. I mean, we've seen that it's not. This oval in particular is not great, not beautifully set up, well set up, I should say, for NASCAR. Yeah, it's a weird one. I'm curious what you think.
I got the impression from Doug Bowles, Jake, when we had him on, I guess, was it last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, that they would be back on the oval at some point.
I think that's, yeah. I mean, I've not heard that at all, but that wouldn't surprise me, right? Okay. I think it falls under the category, Bob, of like, don't know what you got till it's gone, because then the oval goes away, and it's like, there was curiosity about the road course. I think the road course is really good for the Xfinity cars because they're just a little bit smaller and they can go side by side through the turns, and it's pretty awesome. You know,
I don't think the oval changes attendance that much, though, does it?
No, here's what has always been, let me tell you from a racing standpoint, what has, to me, been the really challenging dichotomy. And that is that ovals on television make for better viewing. The low camera angles, the cars going past, shoo, shoo, into the turns, the side-by-side into the turns, whether it's open wheel or stock car, ovals are better on television.
Okay.
But road course and street course sometimes can sell more tickets because people that aren't diehards can go to a road course or a street course and they buy a turkey leg and they walk around and they go to different vantage points and there's a Ferris wheel and the kids can get a balloon over here and etc. That's more street course than road course. Road course, a permanent structure. Street course, a festival type like Long Beach. So then it comes down to which do you want to do more of? Get guaranteed sales of tickets or get people watching on television. And I think, truth be told, Bob, you and I both know the television meter is the one that they're worried about more than the gate.
Right. I really wonder about their marketing because, I didn't even know what kind of races were coming this week, honestly. And this is my job, But I mean, I knew I wasn't going to be covering it, so I didn't make any effort. But
would you have made effort if they'd reached out to you?
Yeah, probably. Or reach out to me with a driver who you think might be a great story. I just don't know what the PR machine, what's going on over there. Because again, I have.
You mean NASCAR, or you mean over at IMS?
Over at IMS for this particular event. Yeah, I had no idea when anything was happening. I mean, I get the emails and everything, but if I was just a general sports fan, I would have had no idea that this was coming up this weekend.
You know what's interesting to me, Bob, is, and I know that I'm an old guy and times change, but it doesn't seem long ago to me. I mean, I was just talking with somebody that like you and I has been in the local media for a long time. There was a time, Bob, when NASCAR came to town and literally, we were as busy on that Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday covering the events around town. I mean, Jeff Gordon's go-kart race for charity and Greg Biffle's changing oils at Jiffy Lube and the Dodge drivers are on the circle and the Ford Fest that has 30,000 people at the Dome, probably 10,000. Yeah. It was literally everywhere. You couldn't swing a dead cat and not somehow fall your way into a NASCAR-related party or event or promotion. And this year, to me, was just really odd. I mean, it was like...
It was weird. It was weird. Usually, like you said, there are things going on, and, you get sometimes, you get one of the driver's reps saying, hey, we got a great story. You might want to look into this, and nothing. Zero. Nada. I didn't even give it I knew I was going to be doing the Colts this weekend, but there was nothing. I mean, the Alex Palau story is obviously interesting, but from the NASCAR side, what? I just didn't think there was anything going on.
Not necessarily their fault, but also to have that race weekend happen on the opening weekend of free practice with kid zones and everything else for the Colts.
The only night practice in 4 years.
And the State Fair opening on the same weekend. I mean, all of it, whoever would have thought IMS has competition, but it does. I mean, that's the reality of it,
You are correct.
Hey, Bob, I wanted to ask you this, too, while we have you here. Bob Kravitz is our guest from The Athletic. The last few times that I've seen you, and it's actually super cool, you usually are a ball cap wearing guy.
I do, because I have no hair.
But you've been wearing a Hartford Whalers hat. Now, I love
7 of them.
The Whalers logo. It's the greatest logo in sports. I was literally 45 years old before I realized that there is a subliminal H in the logo, which is fabulous. But I'm curious because I had thought, for those that are unfamiliar, you are a hockey guy. And you grew up near Long Island, if I'm not mistaken, and I would have assumed you to be a childhood Islanders fan. Were you a Whalers fan, or did you just like the logo?
No, I was an Islanders fan. I still am an Islanders fan. I will die an Islanders fan. But I just love old hockey hats. I've got the old Los Angeles Kings. I got the Kansas City Scouts. I'll wear that for you one day.
That's a good one.
I've got the old Minnesota North Stars, the Atlanta Thrashers. I got them all, man.
Okay.
Jake, ask, I know we're up against it, but one more. Ask Bob what you asked me about Tiger Woods earlier, turning down that $700
Do you believe,
$800 million.
Bob, Tiger Woods reportedly turned down $700 to $800 million for LIV Golf. Do you believe that Tiger Woods turned that down because, A, he has the moral compass of knowing that there is a lot of doubt about the legitimacy of that money and the Saudi government, etc. B, because he thumbs his nose at what he believes to be inferior competition and a Mickey Mouse operation. Or C, because his body's just breaking down and he doesn't want to continue to golf on the regular.
Yeah.
Or D, he doesn't need the money.
Or D, he doesn't need the money,
I don't think he needs the cash at this point. And I think all those other things are good reasons why he wouldn't. But look, it's like Arnold Palmer or Jack Nicklaus deciding to go with some rebel league, outside of the United States, and I think his reputation has taken enough of a hit over the years. I don't think he wants any part of that. And what's $700 million to a guy who's got hundreds of millions of dollars in the bank? I'm asking generally because I have no freaking idea.
God, it still seems like a lot of money. I mean, I know Tiger's made a ton, but man, just astronomical to see that figure thrown out by Greg Norman last night and Tiger turning it down. All right, Bob, we'll see you up at Colts camp later.
Okay, sounds good, boys.
Bob Kravitz right there on the Payless Liquors hotline.
If Greg Norman is offering you that kind of money, does that make him a loan shark?
In my opinion, that sucked.
I mean, I didn't want to do it.
Marc was saying goodbye to Bob. He was a little late on the button there, but I'm glad he got to it. One thing I do want to, again, it sounds like I'm kind of...
Marc, do you ever hit that button because deep down there's a jealousy?
Never. It's always required.
Valid, I would say.
What were we going to say, Kev?
I do feel like at times I'm carrying T.Y. Hilton's water a little bit, but Bob brought up the Carson Wentz numbers from last year for T.Y., and then the year before that. Jake, T.Y. Hilton's numbers with Phillip Rivers. And again, we continue to hear that Matt Ryan is Phillip Rivers like 56 catches, 752 yards, 5 touchdowns in 15 games. That was at age 31. I get that Father Time can creep up pretty fast, but right now, let's take those numbers down to 45 catches for 600 yards and 4 touchdowns. I'd sign up for that right now.
Understood. Do you recall the last year of Reggie Wayne's career?
Coming off the torn ACL.
Wonderful player, but I mean, he was just kind of there, right?
I just don't see the catastrophic injury from T.Y. like Reggie had.
Fair. But you're also playing with the law of averages that it's going to creep in. I hate to say that. Knock on wood.
Yeah, I want to make it clear. I'm not acting like T.Y. is leading the league in receiving like he did in 2016, but I think given how this depth chart looks at wideout, he can give you something a little bit more than what you have. If you missed that, we'll have Bob Kravitz and the best of Chris Ballard as well on the podcast later today. The pop quiz is coming up in about 5 minutes, 317-239-1070 there. Let's do a morning checkdown.
The Morning Checkdown. Brought to you by QC Kinetics. Relieving your joint pain at QCkinetics.com. On 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Jake, speaking of wideouts, we heard from Reggie Wayne yesterday up at Colts camp. Here are Reggie's thoughts on the rookie Alec Pierce through a few practices.
To relax. I told him before the night practice, when you go out there and you touch the field, just raise your hands up and take a deep breath. You know what I mean? Just relax. You know, just like I was, you know, everything he's pressing. He's trying to be perfect on every single thing, and that's not going to happen. You know, so just relax and let it come to you. You know, we all know how to play football. You know, but we out here, we're not trying to be on film and making all the mistakes, and we're trying to impress coaches, and we're trying to fit in, you know, perfectly in the room. Everybody don't care about that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to mess up. The vets mess up. You know what I mean? So it's just relax, play football, and just let it come to you.
Reggie Wayne's just a cool guy, man.
So chill.
He is definitely that.
He always says, just put my feet in the sand, give me a Corona, probably a stogie.
Yeah, he likes a stogie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do think Reggie's temperament is great for a young wideout room.
Yesterday, Major League Baseball, Reds over the Marlins 3-1. Elsewhere, it was the Mets over the Nationals 7-3. Juan Soto, the big trade deadline prize. We'll see where he ends up perhaps by the end of today. Yanks over the Mariners 7-2 yesterday. It was elsewhere looking around the Twins over the Tigers 5-3. Cute fella over the Rangers 7-2. White Sox now at 500. 2-1 they lose to the Royals.
See Tony La Russa falling asleep in the first inning.
Excuse me?
He's falling asleep in the dugout. The camera there, like, we're at a commercial break. We'll be right back. And they see Tony La Russa like closing in his eyes. Like, this is the first inning. Tony, wake up, man.
You know, it's funny.
I just woke up like 20 minutes ago.
It was very evident earlier.
Every time the Reds win, which I feel like they're on kind of a win, somewhat of like a 10 out of 13, you know, something pretty good. I'm like, man, they got to be moving up the standings. They're still like 16 back. Yeah, well. I'm like, you know how bad they were at the start of the year?
Are you familiar with, you obviously know about the Trojan horse, right?
Sure.
Are you familiar with?
Remember when USC and did that against did Notre Dame do that against USC? Is that what it was?
That's right. You know how Hannibal crossed the Alps, right?
No.
Elephants. Nobody thought that, so they crossed. My point being, Kevin, sometimes the greatest victories in history come
Marc,
when you least expect it and via surprise. The Reds right now just waiting. They're waiting for the surprise.
Can Manfred extend the season, maybe? Maybe, what, is it 7 playoff teams in each league
I will agree
this
with
year?
you that they probably need to get it going, right?
Do you think the loser of the Field of Dreams game should be left in the field? I feel like that should be the stakes of that game, because that game stinks on paper.
Sleep in the corn.
That is a disappointing matchup for sure. Look
Jake,
at Scotty, man. Scotty walked in like he's ready to go to PNC Park and take BP.
He is looking good.
He's got on that like a full-on Pirates. He's got the hat. I've never seen the Pirates get up before.
And that ballpark, one of the favorites out there for people to visit. Jake, for those interested, IndyCar race in Nashville this weekend. Pretty cool little atmosphere down there.
I'm telling you, it's great because it's right off Broadway. It goes right around Nissan Stadium. You can literally, if you've been to Nashville and like the whole bar area there and all the live music, it leads right up to the walk bridge to go over into the track. Cannot recommend it enough. It's pretty awesome. Last year was a great event.
Our coverage will begin at 3 o'clock. 4 IndyCar races left this season. Will Power, the new point leader, heading into the final 4 races. All right, pop quiz time is next. 317-239-1070.
You need a lawn care pro and a pest
Josh
control
Bell.
pro. You can have both in one guy. You. DoMyOwn.com will help you get there with pro products, pro knowledge, and pro support. DoMyOwn.com for the pro in you.
At Diamonds Direct, nobody tells our story better than our own associates.
I hear from customers that come in how shocked they are. They're able to, only with Diamonds Direct, afford a diamond that they never in their wildest dreams thought they'd be able to get.
People are just thrilled with what we offer.
We have exponentially more to choose from. The resources that we have, all the way from our wholesale roots, really untouchable.
When you come here to Diamonds Direct, you know it's something special. You know it's something that is one of a kind, and you got that at such a phenomenal value.
To be a jeweler and have this kind of firepower, we have all these mountings, all this selection, all these diamonds, and incredible prices is just unmatched.
And I think our customers appreciate that we are so open and honest about every part of this process.
What they're surprised by is the extent that we go to provide an unparalleled, luxurious shopping experience.
This company has a 60-year heritage in diamond cutting, diamond mining, diamond wholesaling. So there's no possible way to get any closer to the source than with Diamonds Direct.
We won't be undersold.
Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. DiamondsDirect.com.
Hey, Indiana, start the second half of the baseball season the right way by turning Ks into cash and big hits into big wins on FanDuel Sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. All you have to do is sign up with promo code MARC to get in on the action. FanDuel lets you bet the money line, home run props, strikeout totals, and so much more. Plus, you can combine your bets for an even bigger payday with the same game parlay. If you haven't tried FanDuel, now's the perfect time to give it a shot. Just join with promo code MARC and turn a $5 bet into $150 in free bets, win or lose. Again, I gave it to you earlier. The MLB trade deadline today, so there could be some movers and shakers going on, players jumping to different teams, all that. So be careful when you're betting today. I'm putting $25 on the Royals' Hunter Dozier to go deep against the White Sox, a $25 bet. Payout over $115. Thanks, Jake, for the hula dance you're doing right now.
And shaking.
That's very pretty.
I'm a mover and shaker.
So anyway, ignore that, but listen to this part. Join with promo code MARC and turn a $5 bet into $150 in free bets, win or lose. Again, exclusively on the FanDuel Sportsbook app, MARC. Must be 21 and over in Indiana. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is now withdrawable free bets that expire 14 days after receipt. I'm calling HR. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
The Ride with JMV.
Colts running back Jonathan Taylor joins us. What did you see a year ago that you know you need to improve upon that maybe we did not see?
What are you doing with the ball when the play breaks down? So being able to stay calm, cool, collected, understand the situational football that we're in, being able to execute at a high level. The great backs are able to still execute rather than just say, the play broke down.
With JMV.
Weekdays 3 to 6
on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan. Have you studied? Can you handle the pressure? Sharpen your pencils. It's time for the Pop Quiz with Kevin and Query. Brought to you by Jiffy Lube, Indiana's favorite oil change since 1985.
So is that a hot mic with the Josh Bell comment?
Yeah.
I was guessing Josh Bell for Scotty's jersey.
Who did he say it was? I was walking out. I guessed Andrew McCutcheon.
Rajay Davis.
Oh, boy. Well, good thing the Cubs won that game, right,
Oh,
Mark?
my God. Like I told him, I said, that was my hell because he hit that home run off the camera. LeBron was flexing in the crowd. I said, this is my nightmare right here. This is my nightmare.
That was in the ninth, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I remember just getting over the fence or like just being fair. Is that right?
No, I thought it hit. He belted it and it went off the camera. The camera
Wasn't
spun
it close
around.
to going foul or something, Scotty? No? It was the left field, right?
Yeah, it bounced off the camera. Fox replayed like 7 times because it was like, oh, look at this home run right off the camera glass.
And then the rain delay happened right after?
Yeah, not too much longer.
Gosh, that was just a wild night.
The video is pretty awesome, though, from outside Wrigley, right as Bryant made the final out.
Oh, without a doubt.
Pretty awesome.
Without a doubt. And as a Reds fan, yeah, I say that with just a little bit of pain. All right, pop quiz time, 317-239.
It was the 8th, by the way, bottom of the 8th.
1070. We do have a heavy baseball-centric pop quiz today, and a question that we've talked about this week related to the first preseason game of the year in the NFL.
Okay.
Colts are at Buffalo next Saturday. and then home to the Lions and the Bucks. The Lions, I saw some people asking in the YouTube chat, the Lions are the Hard Knocks team this year.
Correct. Yep. That should be starting pretty soon. I haven't seen any promos for it, though, or anything.
I was going to say.
That should be starting like this week, I would think.
Who's our guy that we had on for the Hard Knocks?
Oh, that was
Steve Trout.
Steve Trout. Steve Trout was
Good
great.
job, Jake.
Come on.
Also a major leaguer, right?
Buffalo and bison are the same thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
One is the like Americanized version of saying what, I mean, I guess Native American, same thing, but isn't that correct? One is a colloquialism and the other is what Native American referred to them?
I'll take your word for it.
Okay.
Premiere of Hard Knocks Detroit Lions edition is a week from tonight at 10 p.m. So August 9th on HBO Max.
It'll be fun.
So in 2 weeks, the Colts could be on it with
They probably will.
joint practices at Grand Park.
They very well will be.
The 5 weeks from now, the episode will be fun where they learn they're eliminated.
You should get Steve Trout on when if they're in town.
That was harsh.
What's that?
That was harsh. Yeah, we definitely should do that. All right, Mark, phone lines,
They're lit up.
They're lit up. Jake, a number 1 through 8.
Ocho.
Numero ocho, I believe you went there yesterday as well, is who?
Randy.
Randy, good morning to you. Good to hear from you.
Hello, how are you doing?
Doing well. How about yourself?
Oh, pretty good. I have a question. It was probably more apt for a couple weeks ago when you were giving away the Zach Brown tickets.
Uh-huh.
But aren't there like several different Zach Browns? We have a Zach Brown band. There is a
McLaren.
Yeah, there's a McLaren. There's the F1 guy.
That's McLaren, yeah.
Okay. Is the F1 guy and the IndyCar Zach Brown, is that the same guy?
It is. Now, he's not the musician, but Zach Brown lived in the Indianapolis area.
There's probably 17 of them that live in Indianapolis right now.
That's right. And he ran a marketing company called JMI, which was very heavily involved in the sponsorship marketing for auto racing. And in that capacity, he moved into a position with McLaren Racing, which is a very history-rich Formula One team that then also decided to do IndyCar. So he is the president of McLaren, which has both a Formula One and an IndyCar team.
And also, wasn't there like a Zach Brown that was a player agent?
Now, that's a good question.
What sport?
I'm not sure, but I kind of remember one being a player agent also.
I'm looking up Zach Brown. Now, I wonder if that's with a CH or the K spelling.
I feel like you Google Zach Brown, they're going to be like, the 7th most popular name in the history of names.
That's right.
Yes,
Yeah,
indeed. It was
I'm
a little
not sure on the spelling.
It was a little confusing there. If you've ever seen Zach Brown, the musician, looks a little bit different than Zach Brown, the head of McLaren Racing.
Maybe Zach Brown Band should just be like a rotation of guys named Zach Brown. So sometimes you'll get the lead singer, sometimes you'll get the inside linebacker.
Or they could just rotate in all the different drivers, it sounds like, are
Zach
going to
Thomas,
F1.
the linebacker, right?
There you go.
But he didn't play for the Browns. He was a Dolphin.
Yeah.
Had he played for the Dolphins, then he'd have Zach Browns.
Okay.
Yeah, jeez.
Well, he's
See
the
what
one,
you started,
you're the one that
Randy?
mentioned Zach Thomas out of nowhere.
In my opinion, that sucks.
How am I getting persecuted
I
for that?
said
You're the
Zach
one that
Brown. I
brought-
didn't say anything about Zach Thomas.
You said Zach. You said Zach. Is there a Zach Brown, an inside linebacker?
Yes.
For who?
Alan says unsigned free agent.
Yeah, there is.
Zach Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Well, who's he unsigned with?
I don't know.
Who did he
also went
last
to the
play
University
with?
of Kansas, your old stomping ground.
There's zero chance if the guy played for Kansas, he has any NFL potential.
All right, Randy, let's see how you're doing
We
on
just
today's pop
put that
quiz.
out there.
Randy, which team currently owns the worst record in Major League Baseball? You going with the Nationals, Pirates, Tigers, or Athletics?
I'm going with the Nationals.
Nice. All right, question number 2 for you, Randy. Aaron Judge hit his 10th home run since the All-Star break last night. He is just the second player in the history of Major League Baseball to hit 10 homers in his team's first 10 games after the break. Who is the other? Is it Barry Bonds, Sammy Sosa, Albert Bell, or Jay Bruce?
I'll go Barry Bonds.
Okay.
Gosh, my wife just called me. She's at one of her pregnancy appointments. Luckily, everything is okay. I'm thinking to myself, geez, it's 9:35 right now. I'm gonna.
Does she know what you do for a living?
Skip a little bit of a heartbeat here, but everything is good on that front. Okay, are we on to number 3?
Yes.
For the first time in Major League history, the 2 relievers currently leading the majors in saves were traded for each other yesterday. That's kind of ironic. Name one of the 2.
Josh Hader.
Wow.
Nice.
He was the one I thought you would go with. Can you name the other just for extra credit, Randy? You're a smart fellow.
I cannot.
Okay, maybe not as smart as I thought.
A shot.
Okay.
I'm kidding. Randy always calls.
All right, Randy, here we go. Question number 4. The NFL preseason getting underway Thursday night with the Hall of Fame game in Canton. The 2 teams playing in Canton on Thursday night are... Give me one of the 2.
I'm thinking, I heard this yesterday. I'm thinking one of them might be Buffalo.
How about this?
They both have new head coaches.
One of them plays in the Colts division, and the other plays the Colts and played the Colts a few years ago on Christmas Day.
How about the Buccaneers?
Okay. One of them plays in the Colts division, and the other recently changed cities and is now surrounded by slot machines.
Oh, Raiders.
Okay.
Give Randy a bottle as well while you're at it here, Jake. On this day in 1973, Randy, this future baseball Hall of Famer collected his first career hit in his Major League debut. Actually met this guy last fall. A, Dave Winfield. B, George Brett. C, Dave Parker. D, Mike Schmidt.
Let's go George Brett.
Randy.
Did he get number 2?
No.
Okay, I was going to say, jeez.
Randy swept the category because he got the Nationals right. Josh Hader and Taylor Rogers was right. The Jags and Raiders in the Hall of Fame game, and George Brett was correct. But in terms of the only other player along with Aaron Judge to go 10 for 10 in games after the All-Star break with a home run, it was not Barry Bonds, which was a good guess. It was Albert Ding Dong Bell.
You blew it!
That dude could rake. He was crazy, but he could rake.
Come back tomorrow. You don't even get a lousy copy of our home game.
Is Albert Bell a Hall of Famer? I mean, I don't mean like, is he literally in, like, should he be a Hall of Famer?
Baseball Hall of Fame is so weird for me. Albert Bell and Manny Ramirez. I used to love that.
By the way, another Zach Brown went to North Carolina. He played for the Arizona Cardinals last season. He's now a free agent.
Really?
He's a linebacker. There you go.
They list Albert Bell at 6'1", 190. Why do I imagine him as like 6'1", 230?
So Albert Bell only hit 381 career home runs. I would have thought he was closer to 500, but he hit 52 of them in 95. Boy, he had a stretch there. 36, 35, 52, 38, 45, 48, 36, 37. That's some... Oh, no, wait. That's not home run. Sorry. He had 50 in 95, yeah. That's a lot, man. I would have guessed he was closer to 500, Scotty, wouldn't you, Albert Bell?
I probably would have guessed a little bit more out of him, too.
But he was also half crazy.
I forgot he ended up with the Orioles. Yeah, he looked like a dude that could go play for the Browns as well as the Cleveland Indians.
Totally.
LSU for Albert Bell. Wonder if he's a supporter of Brian Kelly.
I just know that when he was at Cleveland, he was happy to be there with his family, right? Now, Mark, you actually smiled at that one.
Didn't Kelly say something about his accent at SEC Media Day? He tried to, like, justify it.
We're going to keep banging it.
Okay.
Well, yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it one final time here.
Glad to have Mark back.
On a Tuesday.
Are you tired of dealing with the indifference of big corporate suppliers in the construction industry? Quality Supply and Tool understands, which is why for over 25 years, they've taken a customer-first approach. Quality Supply and Tool has locations in Bloomington, Jeffersonville, and at 5722 South Harding Street in Indy, stock full of inventory for those in the concrete and masonry trade, those who need building materials, and contractors who need industrial-grade tools that will work as hard as they do. And that includes weekend warriors. Partner with Quality Supply and Tool on your next project and think outside the box. Store.
Cards issued by Celtic Bank, member FDIC. Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's credit cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 3.3% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp for free. Just go to ramp.com/sports. Ramp.com/sports. RAMP.com/sports.
At Cordell & Cordell, we focus on representing men in domestic relations cases.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
We recognize that our clients are going through perhaps the toughest time they will ever go through. We understand that everything that's important to them is on the table. Their assets, the role in their children's lives, that's an immense responsibility that our clients entrust us with, and we take that very seriously. We've been trained to do that. We've helped thousands of clients before, and it's our hope that you'll choose to entrust us with what's most important to you.
The attorneys at Cordell & Cordell work to help men maximize their role in their children's lives, which includes protecting men's financial means to do so. Contact the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Indianapolis area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 317-322-0122. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Cordell & Cordell, 101 West Ohio Street, Suite 1100, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46204.
Everything is more expensive these days, gas, groceries, you name it. One thing you can't put a price on is peace of mind, which is why I'm a AAA member. Flat tire, dead battery, run out of gas like your keys in a car. AAA is there 24/7, 365. As a AAA member, I get discounts on all sorts of stuff. Hotels, rental cars, restaurants. My AAA membership will even get me into the state fair for free on AAA Day, my birthday, August 17th. My AAA membership saves me so much money each year, practically pays for itself. If peace of mind on the road combined with more dollars in your pocket sounds like something you'd be interested in, do yourself a favor, join AAA today. To get your AAA membership, visit AAA.com, call 844-GO-AAA-GO, or stop by your local AAA office and tell them I sent you. Don't forget to save the date for the AAA Day at the Indiana State Fair. That's Wednesday, August 17th. AAA members get in free. Details always at AAA.com.
What's happening with the Fan?
Join JMV and 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan this Thursday at Twin Peaks for JMV's live broadcast. We'll be passing out swag and talking all things football as we head into training camp. And who doesn't like ice-cold beer and great food? So come on out and see us, talk about the Colts, raise a mug, and join in all the fun from 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
For more info, click on 1075thefan.com. The NTT IndyCar Series races through the streets of Nashville. Sunday at 3 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
You're listening to Kevin and Query on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Speaking of the Cubs, you've seen this music video, right, Mark?
Yep.
Yeah, this is Sammy Sosa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these days, yeah.
I mean, honestly, it's amazing how much he looks like Taco from that video.
Can he dance like him, though?
Was Taco a dancer?
I believe so.
I know he's walking around with the little top hat and...
How's Sammy looking these days? I've always
looks like Gary Cooper.
I'm always confused by what I'm going to get when I see him pop up.
I think the last time I saw him, he was in like a full pink suit, and he literally looked like a bottle of Pepto-Bismol.
Like a bottle of Pepto-Bismol.
So his skin was that shade?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he's going for the whole rainbow.
Where does he live?
Is it Roy G. Biv?
I think he's still in the Dominican Republic, if I'm not mistaken.
Is that where he lives?
Yeah, that's where he's from. I assume he lives back there.
Was he the one, or is it Rafael Palmeiro that said they didn't know English during the steroid?
Oh, that was Sosa, yeah.
Was that Sosa?
No hablo inglés. Palmeiro was the one that was finger pointing.
That was it.
You know, it's amazing with Sammy Sosa. Dave first and I went to a Cubs game. It had to have been like right around 2000, 99, somewhere in there, where Sosa came up. We had seats in the upper deck behind home plate, And literally every time he swung the bat, it was like, oh, there's another home run. I mean, he hit 2 of them that day for 59 and 60. And it was like his second or third straight year hitting 60. It set a record. I mean, it was amazing. And like, you know, I realize all that has gone into baseball with the steroid stuff. I mean, anybody that at the time didn't think like, gee, this is, I remember they were doing stories on the baseballs are being wound tighter in Costa Rica where they're being made, and that's why they're jumping off the bat. And I mean, all of these theories, but
was that the theory behind the juice? Baseballs are juiced?
Yeah, the baseballs that was the big thing, is when all of a sudden everybody started, you know, when Luis Gonzalez is hitting 50 home runs, there were stories like on 60 Minutes and on ESPN, on Baseball Tonight, about how the baseballs at Rawlings were being made, it was a tighter knitting than in years past, and that was allowing for the ball to jump more. And there were everything but, the players might be juiced. But with McGuire, it was already out there in 98 with the Andro stuff, and he was so defensive about it, and he was really kind of an ass about all of it. I mean, I covered him. But Sosa is one to me that is fascinating because I'm not saying that he even wanted this, but if he had chosen, even with like the steroid thing, now that time has kind of gone on and it's kind of been forgiven and whatever else, you have the corked bat as well, but there's just no reason that he should not have been, still to this day, one of the most beloved favorite sons of that city, because he was such a charismatic personality, such an unbelievable talent and energy guy. He just did, during the home run deal with McGuire, he did all the right things. It's very interesting, to be honest with you. It's very comparable, Kevin, to me, to like Tiger and Phil Mickelson.
I was just going to bring up Phil because we had this debate yesterday. I would compare Sammy Sosa to Phil.
Right. Like he was the guy that was the lesser of, you know, he was the lovable teddy bear in comparison to McGuire. Just like how Mickelson was like hefty lefty, sure, you know, everybody's dad compared to Tiger. And then as time has gone on, you know, McGuire's kind of come out of it. You know, he's coaching now and seems like a likable enough guy to people. And Sosa's the one that people are like, I don't know that anybody thinks he's a jerk, but they're just like, what a weirdo, you know?
Well, it's something with the Cubs ownership, too. Like the Ricketts that took over Cubs ownership after, you know, well after he was gone. There's like this vendetta against Sammy. Like, he has to apologize before he's welcomed back. So the fans want him back, but the ownership's like, he's not allowed back until he apologizes. It's like, it wasn't on your watch. What's the issue? Everyone else is in baseball, so it's some weird thing they've got with Sammy Sosa where the fans would love to see him back at Wrigley, but there's some, like, he's like blacklisted basically with under Ricketts ownership.
I'm telling you guys, in that summer of 98, I was working at Channel 6, and in those days, you know, it was before the internet, we just started getting feeds. So every night the sports feed would come down, and what the sports feed was, honestly, was if there was something that happened in your market, you sent it on tape and you uplinked it via satellite to, if you were an ABC affiliate, to News One, which conglomerated all of the video from all the ABC affiliates across the country. And then someone there, their job was to put it all together into like a 10-minute clip and send it out on what we called the feed every night at 11:05. The feed came down from 11:05 to 11:15, the highlights of the night. And you sat and you watched the feed of all of the ABC affiliates from across the country, and you selected out what you wanted to put in your sportscast at 11:25. And then all of the affiliates, regardless of ABC, NBC, or CBS, were part of the CNN feed, which did the same thing. So you had a bigger pool from which to pull. And in 98 was right around the time when it started going to what we called it was called Pathfire, which was on your computer. The feed came in electronically, and it, you know, what we now know is basically pulling off the net. That was groundbreaking. But I just remember in 98, the number of times that, like, being out to dinner between the shows with either Ed Sorensen or Dave first, and we'd be like, we got to get back and find out if one of them hit a home run today.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, literally every night you'd go back and the feed would come down and you're like, oh my gosh, McGuire hit 2 of them. He's at 60. This is unbelievable. He's at 58 now. One of these guys is going to break Maris. And I mean, the watch was just, and it was every single night. Sosa just hit 2 more. He just took the lead back. I mean, it was unbelievable.
Are we going to get there with Aaron Judge this year?
What's he at right now?
It's in the 40s, I believe.
Do people care anymore?
Aaron Judge with 43 home runs. The Yankees have played 104 games. Aaron Judge has played in 101 of them. I would think that math would challenge upper 60s, right?
If you stopped 1,000 people if you went to 10 different ballparks across the country and stopped 100 at each park for 1,000 total and just said, I need your first gut answer that comes to your mind. Like, don't even think about it. Just impulsively and instinctively. First answer. And you asked him, baseball home run king all time, who is it? Boom. How many would say Hank Aaron or Babe Ruth in their mind subconsciously before Barry Bonds? I think there are
I think more would say Bonds.
Depends on the age, I think, of the person you're asking.
Yeah, I mean, you get anybody under 40, they're saying Bonds.
Are they? I mean, you guys may know. Let me ask you this: how many does Bonds have?
Are you talking single season? Or are you talking all time?
All time.
Oh,
the all-time home run leader. Yeah, I think everybody knows Bonds, the 70 home run, but all time.
Yeah, I would still think they would say Bonds.
I mean, Scotty will attest to me here. When it was still Aaron, literally everyone knew the numbers. Like, everyone knew how many he needed to pass Babe Ruth, and everyone knew how many he retired with. And I personally couldn't tell you how many Bonds finished with. 772 is my guess.
I think it's 767. 762, according to Google.
762, okay.
Aaron Judge is on pace for if I did this math right, 67 home runs this year.
It's pretty impressive.
And what, McGuire had 70 and Bonds 73? Those are the only ones above him?
Yep. Sosa had, 66? 68 in that 98 season.
Aaron Judge is 6'7", 282.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
Can't miss him on the circle if he's walking around.
Man, there probably should be a little bit more attention to be, which is kind of crazy to say. Like, it's that market and that team being the Yankees. Marc, are the Bears trading away? There's interest in a Colts player. Jay was tweeting this at me. Ben Banigou. I don't know if the Colts could get a banana for. I'm looking at this banana right here. I'm like, what? Could they get anything for Ben Banigou?
I don't know. I mean, I know they're shopping Robert Quinn as well. So, but Ben Banigou.
So Tevin Jenkins, is that the?
That's the other guy. That's the second-year offensive lineman, but he had back injuries last season and kind of had, didn't have much of a rookie season. And this year in camp, so far, he's had a pretty rough go of it as far as just getting on the field.
Ben Banigou's had a pretty rough go of it for the.
Well, and think about it. Matt Eberflus, the one that had him inactive for how many games last year?
Yeah, like every week, right?
Right. So I don't know if that really.
And Jenkins again wasn't under Poles or Eberflus's watch. It's one of those draft picks that weren't yours. So
yeah. Jake, we're gonna have Brian Evans on tomorrow.
I think Brian Evans is going to join us. Former, I always forget if he was Big Ten MVP or Player of the Year. I think it was MVP. But he's got some cool stuff going on. And both his daughters, by the way, just saving him a bunch of money on college.
Oh, what sport?
Volleyball, I believe.
Nice.
So we'll talk about that.
All right, we'll do that tomorrow. Recap the Colts' first full padded practice as well. Join us 7 a.m.